This is a 2018 BMW M3.
It's BMW. Bayerische Motorenwerke.
And it was once a $70,000 car.
Well, here it is, slithering about on our track.
I'm not going to beat about the bush. This car is utterly brilliant.
And I just purchased it for a 75% discount because of its dark past and its current state. With just a quick Google search of the VIN number, this is what shows up. A horribly crashed BMW M3. But I found the car in a completely different state. All the way in the back of a shady mechanic shop in Opa Loca. Completely abandoned. It looked like they hadn't been touched in years. Buried under a thick layer of dust, no front end, every single airbag was blown. I don't think any of these have been replaced. And paw prints from a stray cat covering every inch like it was their home. But overlooking all of that, what I saw was a $35,000 to $40,000 abandoned Yas Marina blue F80 M3, full of potential for me to take on. But most importantly, after giving the owner a much lower offer than he wanted, he agreed. And we're taking home the F80 M3. Let's go. But we have to talk about the spec, or at least the good thing about this project. So this car does have the engine, the heart of the car. Is the S55 3.0 liter inline six, pushing about 425 wheel horsepower. As you can see, we're missing everything here. We got the carbon fiber roof. Are you kidding me? This car also came with what I believe are called Icon headlights. Now, I think they're a very expensive option that people buy aftermarket for the M3s, which is really cool. This car came with them. Yeah. We do have the Alcantara M Performance carbon fiber steering wheel from factory. And since it is an M competition, we have the M competition seats, M tricolor seat belts, M tricolor e-brake boot with some carbon fiber as well, and M tricolor armrest. Carbon fiber on the dash and carbon fiber there. If you look down here, we have a manual 6-speed transmission BMW. We have a manual M3. This car reportedly only has 22,500 miles. We do a quick marketplace lookup. All the Yas Marina blue F80 M3s go for over $40,000, and this one with only 29,000 goes for 50,000. Ours has 22,000 miles. I really think we found a gem. But of course, why was this someone else's trash? There is a big gap from trunk to quarter panel. This could be an easy fix, or it could be a very bad structural damage. Either way, they literally just threw some roller Chinese wheels on Chinese tires on this car. The gap between the fender and the door is noticeably a little bad, and then when you get down here, it gets a little bit worse. These brake rotors are rusted to the core. We have wires that are going nowhere and are randomly connecting. We have a broken headlight module, and the headlight, well, it's not attached to anything. What? Blown out passenger airbag, dust all over the car. Interior pieces pretty much not even put on properly. And the scariest thing, this car hasn't been on the road under its own power since it crashed back in 2021.
I like the color. I love that color. Reminds me of the ocean. Look at this.
It's really bad.
I mean, it looks good to me because I don't know anything about cars. But you got some empty spaces here, so
yes,
I feel like those should be filled with something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
it's manual?
Manual transmission.
Put it in third. I think third is over here.
Nope, up. Third is up.
First, second, third.
Yep.
Put it in reverse.
We're almost there. Come on. Leave more space on the left side. Woo! Oh my God. I believe that goes there. Window trim, but broken. This is a pretty obvious one. This goes right in the middle of the engine bay. Gotta figure out where this one goes. It's got a part number, so I can probably figure it out, but not broken, so we're keeping. This is broken, not keeping. And then we also found more miscellaneous parts where most of them were broken. And honestly, I think the hardest part of this build is going to be figuring out where everything goes. Cannot scratch it. The carbon fiber strut brace. This thing is easily $600 to $800 on eBay used. Let's jump this car so we can hopefully get the trunk open. We can look at all the parts we need. Oh, what the? Okay, I don't know why it would spark like that, but we got the trunk open. Oh, first things right off the bat. AC compressor. Need this in Florida. Some kind of reservoir. I do know we have 2 on this car because it is water cooled. Unfortunately, tab is broken. Tab is broken. You know what's really funny? Before I purchased it, we're gonna get into the story later, but the guy was like, everything you need is in there. The car has everything. Why you always lying? We got the whole radiator stack right here. Even though we do have a lot of pieces, we're honestly missing over 90% of the front end of this car. I mean, we have no coolant hoses, no AC line, no clips, no bolts, no reservoirs, no intake part. We have nothing. Wow, but I feel like there's still something deeper going on here. I need to make sure that this engine, with supposedly 22,000 miles, starts. Honestly, I doubt this thing starts. It is so dead. Let's see. Yeah, this car's so dead. Oh my gosh. Let's try to jump it. The clutch pedal's like all the way to the floor, and I mean the brakes, it doesn't have any brakes. Nope. Does not start. Doesn't start. All right, let's try one more time. I see everything on. Got the M over there. It's alive. 22,520 miles. Wow. Please start and don't make me regret this decision. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh! It starts! We got every single light on the dash. It turned off by itself. Obviously, there's literally no coolant in the car. It sounded incredible. Let's go. Yes. Okay. Car starts. Yes, yet again another W. And this engine alone goes for over $8,000, close to $10,000 with the mileage that it has. Forgot one massive piece. We also have the M front bumper, which looks absolutely epic. But I want to ask your guys' opinion. What is your favorite BMW of all time? Comment below and let me know. But I think it's time to get a little more serious with this car. What is the story behind it? And we really need to get under it because there has to be something hiding. There's no way someone just randomly gave up on something like this. As we know, the car was crashed in 2021 by the owner that purchased the car from the dealership, which is insane, at 22,500 miles around there. Then it was purchased from Copart from someone in Miami. It was taken to a shop to get repaired. But here's where things get a little bit like, that's interesting. It was repaired at a shop, but the car was never able to get started. At least that's what I was told. And then the guy that repaired it and bought it from Copart sold it to the guy I bought it from. It was like his best friend, I believe. So the guy that I bought it from took it to the shop that I got it from to get the engine started. They got it started. The guy really ran out of money, and I think that's true because it was a little crazy to see. And I mean, things in life just happen, but as soon as I gave the guy the cash, he literally made a 360, walked, or 180, walked to the mechanic, gave him like probably half of what I gave him, or I don't know, but and then he was able to give me the title and all that. So he really wanted to finish his car but wasn't able to because, well, he didn't have the money in hand and he had to fly out of the country in an emergency. So that's how we're here. But I feel like this car's hiding something serious. I'm not an expert, but if something doesn't look right, I think I'll be able to tell. Here we go. These are definitely not original subframe bolts though. This one's also on. This one is on. Wait a minute. Well, we're missing a subframe bolt and it's not even lining up properly. Same as the other side. And you can tell they even tried drilling to try to make the subframe fit. Here's another thing I'm not fully sure of yet. Why is there tape in the fender well on the side that the car was hit? Oh my gosh. There's no way. That's not even seam sealer. This is foam. This car's literally being held on by foam and tape. There is no way. What? This is some serious structural damage. Here's the passenger side. Looks like proper. And this is how the driver's side looks like. The underbody's kinked as well. Are you kidding me? There's one kink, and near the transmission tunnel, there's another kink. At least we got an active AutoWorks exhaust, right? That's good. Here's how the good passenger side looks like, but I'm afraid this isn't the worst of it. The seam sealer in the fender side that's absolutely destroyed, well, it's cracking straight through. What? And look how much rust there is. They never really fixed this car. They just did a patch job. The car's not even attached. Is this the feeling you get when you get scammed? I'll be driving on the highway going 70 miles per hour and the whole left side of my car is gonna go flying. Oh my goodness. And you know what? Let's put the strut brace on and see if this even fits. This should give us a good idea as to how bad this is. It doesn't even fit. What in the world? I don't know if I'm doing this right or not. I just noticed the strut bar is bent, meaning when they quote-unquote repaired this car the Miami way, the Cuban way, I'm Cuban by the way, I can say that, they were never able to rectify their work to see if, well, everything matched up and fit properly. Wow. How can someone do this to an M3? Honestly, how can someone do this to any car? Just don't repair it at that point. And I think now's a perfect time to tell you guys exactly how much I paid for this scammed F80 M3 that I don't know what to do with. I paid for this car a total of $18,000. I wonder how past me is doing. Anyways, we'll get through it. This is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, a camera that has pretty much captured almost all our most special moments on this channel. Why? Because not only is Insta360 the sponsor of today's video and a massive sponsor of the channel, this thing shoots in 8K 30 FPS, but if you want to slow it down even more, this thing does 4K 120 frames per second. Absolutely wild. Now this little thing has countless of modes. I mainly use time lapse, but you also have a really cool mode called pure video, which at nighttime the quality is absolutely ridiculous. A really important thing when buying a camera is how do you mount it. So this one actually comes with those 4 little kind of mounting holes at the bottom and this little mounting plate, and I'm sure there's others, but this is the one I mainly use. You click these 2 in, you go like this, and well, it clicks right into place. And then with this is what I typically do. Slide it into place, and then you know the drill. You can pretty much mount it anywhere, the windshield, wherever you want. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this thing has turned into my nightmare, a real life nightmare. So how do you think they repaired it?
Took everything out. So they basically took this part out too. You see the walls, look. That's all factory. That's not factory.
Oh, right.
It's rusting the wall.
Maybe I should have taken you to Miami with me.
That's supposed to be sim seal. That's a Miami.
If you guys watch, you know I love this cheeky little camera, but this one is the Instago 3S. This thing gets all the most amazing shots, and that is by clicking this little button and then it literally gets detached from its body. This little thing shoots at 4K 30 frames per second. It's unheard of. The back of it's magnetic as well, which is a massive plus. It allows you to get as creative as you want. For example, you get this necklace, put it on your neck, and now you can easily boom, put it right there. Now you get a really cool POV and you get very comfortable where you don't even feel that it's there. You also get this really cool attachment which allows you to get super creative. Magnetic on one side, and this thing you can put it to any metal surface. You also have this attachment which I think would look really good on a hat. So you go like this. What? This thing is amazing. If you're really thinking about starting YouTube or any of that, I do truly believe these are some pretty solid cameras, and that's coming from someone that uses them. I'm not just saying this. I will leave them linked in the description. If you don't want to do that, go to the website and use the code that's on the screen right now. It helps out the channel so much. But just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I was vacuuming the interior and found something hidden under the carpet that could change everything. What are your thoughts on this?
This thing's bad, man. Buckle up all the way.
The floor's so sunken in and twisted, the bracket for the fuel tank can't even reach high enough to bolt up. Now we understand why this car was giving up on. And to really know if the front end was straight, we pulled out a trem gauge. It's a tool body shops use to measure the distance between structural points, basically like a giant caliper for your frame. We ran it in an X pattern from one strut tower to the opposite frame rail and then reversed it. That tells us if the car's twisted or square. If those measurements are off, you've got frame damage. But in our case, the numbers lined up surprisingly well, which makes no sense. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Step numero uno, remove the front seats. All right, we gotta jump the car for the 30th time. Okay, let's go. Come on, come on. We're gonna move the seat forward, all the way forward. Oh, it's gotta go more forward. Don't die on me. Live. Forward. Oh, he just died. Well, we got it. We got it. We got it. Woohoo. Let's go. Sheesh. Okay, next up, the center console has to come off because we are removing the carpet. And to do that, all the plastic pieces and everything on top of the carpet, well, have to be removed. But if there's only one upside to this is we have a really nice interior. We have pretty much new suspension with 22,000 miles on it. And we do have a manual transmission and engine that combined are probably worth right around $12,000 or more. And it only has 22,000 miles. Just trying to look at the price at this point. Oh, looks like I'm just gonna have to like muscle it out. And keep twisting, maybe twist this way. This is all straight, straight, straight. And obviously, it is pinched right there. Wow, wow. Oof, I just found more damage, y'all. I just found more damage. Check this out. Check this out. I'm not a body guy, but I'm pretty sure it did not come out of the factory like that. I mean, those welds, what is going on here? Actually, this might be worse than I thought. As we know, this thing was pretty much, or is pretty much bent. Good thing is, I just ordered a new one and it just got here today. So let's throw it on, and this is really gonna tell us if everything is aligned at the top or it's not. That's completely off. That's not even remotely close. Nothing is going to line up on this car, and it is structurally unsavable. And that's not even talking about what types of issues this is gonna cause. As much as it hurts to say, the build ends here. Kind of. 1, 2, 3 options for this car. Option number 1, sell the car. A lot of people said sell the car, part it out on Facebook, maybe make some money back, get a bunch of these messages and nobody buys anything. A massive headache. But ladies and gentlemen, are we going to sell the car? No, we're not going to part it out or sell the car. And now we're in option number 2, ignore the damage. Or just turn it into a track car or a drift car. Or just make it an Instagram car. No one's gonna know how bad it is. Just take cool pictures and reels with it. Make it a TikTok car. The TikTok F80. We are doing something else though. Let's go to option number 3. And this one is out of love and passion. Truly, it makes 0 sense to do this. Buy another F80 M3. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not giving up on this car. We're gonna go buy another F80 M3 that 90 Auto Parts is going to help us bid on a chassis from Copart. That being said, one goes on auction in 5 minutes. Let's go. All right, here we go. 11.6. Oh, what the freak?
You want me to bid or no?
What?
You want me to bid or no?
Yes. Oh, no, it doesn't make sense at this point, does it?
Hell no, but I can bid.
Bid once.
I didn't make it.
It's fine. Plan is pretty much to move this drivetrain into the chassis when we win it. We have to start tearing this down because we're pretty much building an F80 M3 from scratch. Meaning, from this car, we have to remove everything you put on it on an assembly line. Doors, hood, fenders, subframes, engine, transmission, interior, everything. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. Can I do this? I don't know. We're gonna start by removing the front end. Thankfully, it's missing so many pieces that there really isn't a whole lot to remove from the front end, but check this out. When removing the core support bolts, look how much tension it was holding. That is definitely not supposed to be moving like that after taking out the bolts. Oh, and they also didn't even purchase the proper hardware. These are just random bolts thrown on the car. It's straight, it's good. We're going to be reusing this on the new car. So I was looking down here to see if I can find the clamp to take out the intake. It's not even connected. I mean, look at this. In my honest opinion, I do believe he was driving, it was wet out, he spun out and hit a tree. And now we get a good look at the turbos. So up here, right there, That's the front turbo, and then that back there is the rear turbo. Next up, from the engine bay, we do have to remove the harness that comes out of the starter and goes to the battery terminal. Since we're taking out the engine and transmission, the starter is coming along with all of that, so it needs to be disconnected. As well as some plugs from the secondary ECU, I believe you could call it. This device, I have no idea what it is. I'm new to this F80 world. And voila, look how naked all this looks. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take off the hood because it's gonna make everything so much easier, and we're not gonna be scared of like hitting the roof when taking out the trans and engine, and yeah, much better. Oh shoot! You got it out? Woo! Let me tell you, nothing at all pretty to see down here, that's for sure. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the jack stands just go through the rails and into the cabin. I simply wouldn't be. We're gonna disconnect the fuel line right there. Almost forgot the last liner connection we do have to remove from the engine is the fuel line. Oh, not again, not again. I can't see from where I am. I hate this F80. I hate this F80. This is a battle between me and this M3, and it's currently winning. Now's a great time. Subscribe. A pity subscribe, why not? I'll take it. I'll take anything. But check out how crazy this is. One transmission bolt, two transmission bolts. But if we come over here, check that out. They didn't even put this bolt on. This one, I don't know how they managed to do that, but this one isn't on, and they tried drilling it to make it fit. That's crazy. What we have left for the exhaust is the final two hangers that run right at the back of it, and then it should come right down if we don't strip anything or mess anything up. Perfect. Okay, this has to be the longest exhaust I've taken out. Even the undershielding says M on it. Ooh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. I feel special. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's the good side, y'all. That's the bad side. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is not buckled. This is crumbled. Look at this. Disconnect the drive shaft, which these aren't the original bolts at all either, so we definitely want the proper bolts for the drive shaft. We don't want anything snapping. Thankfully, we do have Naughty Auto Parts, the greatest part out company out there, hands down.
I hope you heard something.
I'm on a mission, ladies. I gotta finish. But to disconnect the drive shaft is just 3 bolts, and then that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot something very important. We've got to disconnect the master cylinder line that goes to the car. All you have to do is take off a little clip that's on it, and then that's it. Cool. And talking about manual trans, we forgot to unplug it from up there. It's just 2 hex bolts, and that's pretty much it. One way we're going to be taking out the engine. Oh. Well, I don't have the proper tow hook to pull out the engine like BMW would do. So we're doing it my way, or you could say the old school way in a way. We're wrapping the hook in the back of the engine where BMW actually has a hook to pull the engine out as well. We're also wrapping around the headers and the driver's side engine mount, which we have off. And we should be able to pull out the engine safely through all those points. Click that subscribe button. And of course, like every engine removal, it is stuck. What I'm gonna do is, I believe I have to lower the subframe a little bit because things are cracking. We're lifting up the engine, things are cracking, and it's the oil pan is hitting the subframe, so we gotta lower it a little more. And I think we're gonna have enough clearance to take everything out. We're going to be lowering the sketchiest subframe of all time, little by little. One bolt at a time to make sure it doesn't just collapse. And we're also lowering the suspension at the top because it is also attached to the subframe and it's going to be holding it up. And with the subframe lowered, here we go, round 2. Oh, the downpipe is hitting. No, the downpipe. In the bright side though, we got the oil pan on top of the subframe. That's great, but now the downpipe is hitting the engine mount that we left in the car, thinking it would be easier to take out. I definitely should have removed that. Oh wait, maybe I can still, hold on. All right, I think now we're gonna have a lot more clear room. Sheesh, come on. We have a new issue. We're getting stuck right there. Now, I know how to fix it. We need to take out the shifter so then we can really raise the transmission all the way up. We should give us enough room to get rid of that. But I simply don't know how to remove the shifter. But here's how the shifter works. The shifter is attached to the top of the transmission, and then this is what shifts through the gears, and it goes right into there. And obviously when you go first, second, third, and fourth, it moves this linkage. And how you remove it is actually pretty simple. All this linkage is held on by pins that have little seat clips that allow the pins to never come out. But if you're noticing something, it's coming out easy because it doesn't have it. And the impact from the crash was so bad, it broke the manual transmission linkage. Look at this. I'm praying the transmission didn't internally get damaged, but obviously we're never gonna know until we start the car and attempt to drive it for the first time. Let's go. We got it out. That was a mission and a half, I can't even lie. And that is how you remove an engine and transmission from an F80 M3 the Cuban way. Wow, 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 we did it. Girl, we did it. But even better, Norse parts are getting here in 30 minutes and the car we're bidding on, well, it's starting in 5 minutes, so let's go win this F80. We need it. That's you, right? 11.3?
Yeah, it should be me, yeah. All right, bro. Oh, no way. Oh, bro, come on, bro. This just has to hit that, bro.
11.9. That's you, right? 12?
That's me, yeah. No way.
Let's go! That's good! Yes!
Great price. That's a great price.
Yes! For 12.
For 12, bro.
Let's go!
Oh, we have a funding issue, though.
Naughty made a great deal since he's keeping 90 or 85% of the car. I paid a fraction of that. But me paying a fraction of that and it being $12,000 allows me to be willing to pay this $3,000 for shipping, which is insane. I'm paying $3,000 to ship a scrap of metal across the United States. But let's start unboxing because we need to be 100% sure we have all the parts needed before we fully get started rebuilding the other M3. I just realized we now have 2 M3s and we're gonna make one great one out of 2. This reminds me of my first Christmas here in the US. I got so many gifts. Here we go. This should be everything we need to rebuild the front end of an F80 M3. But what wasn't fun was the state that the chassis came in. On a 2-story car hauler, no brakes, barely any steering, and well, no interior at all. And the best part of all, yeah, I'm inside of that car. Not by choice, by pure pressure. Should someone be here guiding it or no? You? Me? You want me to get in and you push it?
Yeah. Help me! Help me!
Oh. Let's go. Meet Sally. She may not be the prettiest or the most well put together, but she does have a massive purpose in our dream, in our journey, and that is she's going to be Veronica's new body. Step 1 to making this dream come true is we have to strip everything, like I said, because Lucas is going to be coming here tomorrow to paint the whole thing. When you have a car this stripped, you can really see all the detail that BMW puts into it. Like all of this heat shielding on the passenger side of the engine because, well, that's where the turbos are, so they try to keep heat in. And a lot of other really cool details that you wouldn't notice if the engine was in the car. But what's really cool is that the Yasmarina Blue was actually the chosen color when this car was launched back in 2014, I believe. But aside from all the shielding, we also have to disconnect the AC lines and the lines that go to the heater core, as well as this little mini computer, I like to call it, as well as all this wiring because I don't want anything to get wet. We're just gonna throw it right where the cubbies are. And now we can get to the cleaning. The plan is we're going to throw on some degreaser, let that soak for a little bit, and then we're gonna do a hard power washer in all of the engine bay and all these areas. And you're also probably wondering, how are we going to paint this car? Well, yeah, you just wait. By the time we're done with this, we might have the cleanest F80 out there. Literally. And the main reason why we're not transporting it to a paint booth, well, that really doesn't make any sense because right now we're only going to be painting the door sills, the engine bay, and all the areas that will be hard to paint when all the panels and the engine are on the car. Now, we're painting the chassis here at home for the first time ever in the history of this channel. You may be wondering, he's very well prepared. Not quite. We're going to be using this compressor from Temu. I'm pretty sure no one at BMW thought this would be a scenario going on in life, but here we go. We're putting Lucas to the test. Okay, it might be a little hard with the Temu compressor, but he's checking it out and... Yes! It looks like the Temu compressor is going to work. So here we are, the moment of truth. Painting the F80 Gas Marina Blue at home side garage. But I'm not going to lie, there is great weather and we have amazing ventilation. So I think this is gonna be great. Biggest question mark is this compressor. Is it going to make it throughout the whole paint job? One wrong move and we're looking at a glittery Smurf crime scene. The blue is fully put down and now he's putting down the clear and look how incredible that looks. And the Temu compressor, it's holding on just great. I think he's going to pull this off. Wow, Lucas just laid down the Gas Marina Blue in the garage with the Temu compressor and it came out looking like it rolled off the factory in Munich. No paint booth or $5,000 equipment, just skill and backyard courage. If you're wondering why everything looks so wonky in the front, it's because this is actually suspension from an E90 BMW. Complete different chassis, and you can obviously tell from up here. So first things first, switch all the suspension components from this chassis to that chassis. But before I forget where all the plastic goes and the brake lines and all the wiring, let's start putting everything back together because I will forget in about 20 minutes. That includes all these nice plastic pieces that go in the engine bay, the quote-unquote ECU that goes on the driver's side along with all the wiring routed where it needs to be, the AC lines because I've heard they suck to put in when the engine is in the car, this water pump that comes right out of the heater core and it goes mounted right under the quote-unquote ECU. And of course, we cannot forget about all the heat shielding that protects the engine bay and pretty much keeps the heat where it needs to be and doesn't let it disperse to other areas. Funny enough, this is a wheel from the E46 Need for Speed. That is so funny. Now this is one of the spares for the 340i. Now since we're leaving the subframe on the car, we just have to disconnect the suspension from the subframe. This little arm that goes connected to the middle of the subframe and then this bigger arm that goes connected to the front of the subframe, along with the strut tower bolts. Oh shoot! Can't forget about the steering rack. Okay, I believe the only thing holding this whole suspension up is these two little bolts on the top of the struts. One. Oh my gosh. And everything should drop right down all together. Believe it or not, I'm gonna try to do the same thing we just did with this suspension. Now it's gonna be way harder and heavier, but it might save us a lot of time, which we need to save. Yeah, I've never seen rotors like this. That is rusted. Thankfully, we do have new rotors in the way. Do not worry. Unfortunately, I realized a really important fact I pretty much overlooked when buying the new M3.
Every wire that you see on that car is part of the body harness.
The two models of M3 are so different that they have completely different wiring harnesses. I wish I was coming in with good news, but we just hit such a big roadblock. We have a massive issue. This is pretty much a pre-LCI base model BMW, aside from the carbon roof. This is a fully loaded LCI M3. This one has things like lane assist, 360 view, heads-up display. You can adjust how comfortable or sporty the suspension is, and well, obviously this one doesn't have any of that. Meaning, when we're done with this car, we're not gonna have any of those high-end, fully loaded BMW options because it doesn't have the same wiring harness. Do you get where I'm going with this? Every wire, every module, every plug, we have to swap. Meaning we have to fully tear down both cars. And the fact that we want to do this in 1 week, things just got a whole lot more complicated. With that being said, I do want to put the front suspension in first, and then we can jump to taking out the dash and, well, the wiring harness. Oh, twice from this car and that car. This is one of those times where you simply just have to keep swimming. Obstacles are gonna come and we're gonna have to overcome them, but one thing at a time. Quick tip, when dealing with suspension components, if they don't want to fit where they need to be, grease it up a little bit and it'll slide right into place. That's what I did here, and it worked like magic. Next up, we connect the steering rack, which is being held on by 2 bolts. And then the steering shaft. This is how we steer the car. It's being held on by 1 little bolt, which I never understand. If that little bolt goes loose or snaps, it's pretty much game over. And voila, we have successfully installed the M3's front suspension. It looks amazing, aside from the rotors. It's time to dive into the wiring. Oh, there's the harness. Boom. And now we can get a good look as to where all the wiring looms lead to. And it is under the dash. So let's start taking it out. Starting with the glove box, which is being held by 3 little bolts inside of the glove box and a couple more around it. And I bet what you're thinking, oh, he's done this before. Nope, you're wrong. I've never removed a dash, let alone done a whole wiring swap on a BMW. So you're watching me do something for the very first time, hopefully pull it off, and most importantly, learn from it. Can't forget to disconnect the airbag. 1 bolt under the driver's side air vent. The amazing thing is that all these little bolts look the exact same, so shouldn't be too hard to put everything back. Speakers need to come off since there's a plug that goes to them, as well as the A-pillars. Rip the clip. Oh, whoa, look at that. What? You here to help? Oh my goodness. Hey, Jiggle girl. Oh. Okay, do I have to take off the steering? I think I have to take off the steering wheel, yeah? Yes, we do have to remove the amazing steering wheel Naughty Auto Parts threw on. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing is hashtag race car. And just like that, we have successfully removed the dash on the BMW. What a massive milestone. We've peeled back another layer, and things, unfortunately, aren't as good as I thought they were gonna be. The wiring seems to be going under the heater core, meaning we're not done just yet. Let's remove the dash frame. And to be quite honest, there's only one thing I'm hoping for is I put back everything correctly and I have air conditioning, because if I have to do all this over again, you might never see the M3. I really wonder how they do this at the dealership. Is it a robot or is it actual people putting the dash in? All we have left is to take off pretty much the whole AC system, the heater cord, this is called. On the other side of things, we just have to disconnect the AC lens from it and both hoses that go connected to it. Here we have a heater core. Jeez, look at the size of this thing. If you told me we're gonna be here right now, I wouldn't believe you, but then again, I'm so proud that we were able to get all this out. I mean, look at that, look in there. Sheesh, there's the wiring harness. Not quite, there's still one more thing we have to do before getting to the full wiring harness. We've been chasing this whole time. It's just removing the carpet though, nothing crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, after a ton of work, look at that. Look how disgusting that is. Look at this rat's nest. So now the next step is we have to pull all the wires through the firewall because, well, the fuse box is right out there. And I believe BMW started from the inside of the car and then pushed everything out. And we haven't even started with the rear, but we're getting there one step at a time. After hours of ripping this car apart, it's finally time. Me and the harness. Face to face. No more hiding behind dashboards or tucked connectors. Just 40 pounds of tangled nightmares staring me down like it knew something I didn't. But at this point, this isn't just a swap. It is war. We got the whole wiring harness from the front of the car, inside of the car, and that was honestly my biggest worry, and I think we just passed the most difficult part. Let's remove the rear trim because there's a lot of wiring back here. We got this, we got this, we got, I don't know, we got. As for the rear, everything is hiding under these panels, which are being held on by a ton of clips and one big hex bolt. Once we got them off, now we can see what we're dealing with. And in case you're crazy enough to do this one day, I'm gonna give you a hint. Take lots and lots of pictures and videos so you know how everything goes routed, where it goes plugged into. Trust me, you'll thank me later. And this would be a lot more fun if it wasn't an oven in here. 90 degrees with 58% humidity. Even on the rear headrest panels, there's literally wires and plugs and connectors going everywhere. Looks like we're going to the roof. Honestly, I didn't want to and I thought everything would end here. Like, why couldn't things end in this connector? But it looks like we have to go into the roof because there's, I believe, one wire connected to the side airbag. Same on that side. Can't believe I'm saying this, but lastly, there's one plug, or actually two plugs, connected to the rear differential area. And aside from the rear suspension plugs we also removed, that should be it. It's a whole wiring harness. I'm pretty sure I'm holding on 60 pounds of wire. There it is. Danny 1, harness 0. And I know you're probably thinking the craziest thing, how the heck are you gonna remember how to put this back? I'm gonna be completely honest with you right now. I don't know yet, but I do know something. If we come over here, now we have to do the same thing again on this car. This car has a lot more things still on it, so more disassembly and the same headache all over again. So with that being said, I love you guys so much. I will see you after I take out this wiring harness. On a serious note, I'm currently laying next to wiring harness number 2. Time to figure out pretty much where anything goes because I don't remember if I labeled everything correctly, if I didn't. I probably didn't, so this is gonna be a fun one. Before we throw on this bowl of spaghetti back into the car, I do want to separate it by sections. Front driver side, front passenger side, roof, dash, rear driver, and rear passenger. And as we're pulling in the harness little by little into the car, we're immediately guiding it to where it's supposed to go. Whose idea was it to do something like this? Like, I shouldn't have done this. I really should. The positive of this, if we pull it off, imagine the confidence that it's going to give us that we can use towards our next projects. And we're just going to learn and gain so much knowledge from this. So even though this is a completely different world that I'm used to, we're not giving up. Let's keep going. Big moment right here, y'all. Big moment right here. Boom, right here. Boom. First plug is on. But check out what we noticed, a broken wire. Thankfully, the other half is right there, but man, imagine we didn't see this. That could have been really bad. We need to be really careful with this harness because it was hit on the driver's side. That's why this one was probably snapped. Because if I zone out while doing all this, I will never remember where it went. And look at that. We're pretty much almost done putting the harness back into the car. Things are looking really good. Alright, here we go back in with the headliner. Oh shoot. I guess you could say this is a nice thing about Not having any interior, the headliner is easy to put in and out. Also, another thing is, Kevin did wash all the floor mats for me. W Kevin in the chat. So yeah, those are still drying. That needs to go back before we even put on the dash, which is today's goal. So we'll wait for that to dry. We'll put in the zone. After putting the headliner on, there's one detail I almost forgot. We also need to swap out the speakers because the other BMW has Harman Kardon speakers, which are much better than the ones this car currently has. When we're done with this build, I'm planning a massive road trip and we're going to be needing good speakers, and Cristobal also loves music, so that's also a plus. I almost forgot. We're turning the new F80 into manual. We gotta switch out the pedal. Check out this difference. Here is the regular automatic brake pedal. Well, BMW, whenever it's manual, it actually implements the clutch pedal into the brake pedal mechanism. This hose goes connected to the master cylinder, and then here where it gets fluid. And this goes directly to the transmission. Boom. Oh, I'm so excited for this. It has to be manual. I mean, when rebuilding this car, it needed to stay manual, 100%. The brake pedal is the one that goes over the master cylinder. Make this one up here. Very important, do not forget the locking pin. It goes this way. Clip. All right, there you go. Now the funny thing is, since it's an automatic chassis, all they do is plug up where the manual line would go through. But this hard line goes right to the pedal like I showed you guys, and the soft line goes connected to the transmission. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're throwing everything back into place. And of course, it starts with the carpet because it's wiring harness, then carpet, then heater core. After the heater core, we can start throwing on the frame, which was an absolute pain to throw on. It was almost impossible lining it up with the frame of the car and the heater core, to the point where we had to attach it to the heater core first and then kind of put both in together at the same time. This was 10 times harder to put back on than take off. I mean, wow. Believe it or not, the first car to ever have heads-up display wasn't some German spaceship or an exotic supercar. It was a 1988 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. That's right, your grandpa's land yacht was out there projecting speed onto the windshield like it was in Top Gun. Everything is in place. Time to throw on the dash. Now we can throw on the cluster. The crash was so big, it actually broke the manual transmission shifter, so we had to get a new one. It's very cool how this goes attached. Everything is pins and clips, not a single bolt. And just listen to how good that transmission shifts. That should be it for the transmission side of things. It sounds like it's shifting amazing now. While removing the drivetrain, I did crack the valve cover. Minus $400. I have the new valve cover and I have a bunch of goodies. We're gonna do valve cover, cold packs, and spark plugs, belts, and a whole new drivetrain. Let's go, baby. That was easy. This thing looks, oh my gosh, look how clean. This is a 22,000 mile motor for sure. Hands down the cleanest engine I've ever seen in person. Now we can clean the surface, put the new valve cover on, and torque it down. We also have to remove the spark plugs because we are throwing on new spark plugs. This car is set for a while and I just want all these parts to be new. But check out the spark plug from cylinder number 2, I believe. I've never seen anything like this. And all the spark plugs were the same except for this one. So I wonder what's the story behind it. We got the new spark plugs in. Now we throw in the new coil packs. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to ponerla aquí. Okay, current scenario. Actually, these are the things you just have to do if you want to get something this big of a project done in 1 week. But current scenario, we got the transmission halfway into the car. Now we're going to use the transmission stand right in here, and we're gonna lift it up so it meets the transmission and we can push everything in nicely. Just like that. Theoretically, when we push the cherry picker, the transmission jack should smoothly put the transmission into place. Oh. Very good. And look at that, it's actually working. Let's go. And we're gonna try our best to not break the valve cover this time. We're gonna learn from our mistakes. Drivetrain is almost in. We're gonna connect it to the drive shaft. I did my new drive shaft bolts, but check out how, this is probably the coolest thing ever. They left down here, where is, oh there it is, Philippians 4:13. We need that right now. That is amazing. Pretty much got the transmission into place. Engine is in place. Ladies and gentlemen, I think there's only one thing left to do. Is just connect a couple wires, make sure everything's good, and then the first startup. All these hours of work come down to this very moment. Okay. Oh, the dash works. The dash works. Here we go. Oh. Come on, start. It didn't want to start. Now I'm going based off the logic. It should start. Nothing needs to be coded because we're using everything from the other car. I do hear the fuel pump, but the car just doesn't start. And the dash or the cluster, it's flickering as well. It's not staying on. Well, there's no brake pressure. Could that be it? That could be it. I've seen some instances where there's no brake pressure and the car doesn't start. I guess that detonates the brake switch, allowing you to start the car. Either way, we need to try everything at this point because I refuse to remove the dash and remove the whole wiring harness all over again. Here we go. Here we go. No. Wow. I simply don't know what to say. I really thought we did everything right. I labeled everything, took my time. It took me hours, days to this very moment, and the car has no life in it. I think I seriously misplugged something or left something unplugged. The dash is not working. So obviously nothing works. So I think something's plugged in wrong. Hold on. Looking back at the footage, I noticed something. That right there is a ground cable. On the transmission, that is snapped. This could totally be the problem. I mean, if there's a missing ground, the car could just be glitching. Here we go. The new ground is in. Let's go! Let's go. Yes! That was the issue. Listen to that thing. Everything works. But unfortunately, this car is far from finished. It still looks like it belongs in the assembly line. Time to change that. Throw on the carpet and throw on the brackets and the wiring for a third time. It shouldn't be too difficult at this point. Like I said, we have a bunch of pictures and videos and we already did it a bunch. So after all that is in, we can throw on the armrest. But we have to be very careful because we can't bolt it down yet. We have to connect everything that's inside of the armrest before we can bolt it down. And it is so cool seeing this interior come together. I can't wait. Next up, the steering wheel trim pieces. And we can't forget about the e-brake boot with the nice M stitching. Ooh. As well as the carbon fiber holder, I guess you could say, or handle. So sick. Making really good progress on the dash. Now we're gonna start putting on the CD player, screens, all that fun stuff. Let's go. CD player going in. We need Apple CarPlay and all that good stuff. Before throwing on the center console trim pieces, we have to throw on the AC vent. This vent goes from the bottom of the dash all the way to the rear seats. And with those things fully in, we can throw on the cup holders and the trim pieces. As well as the long carbon fiber trim piece for the dash that holds the middle AC vents, the hazard lights, and the on-lock. Oof, can't forget about this little AC vent. In Florida, we need as many vents as possible. Driver's side airbag. I believe it's like that. Yeah, it goes like this. And then the studs back here that came with this airbag is for the plastic panel that goes over. Installing this airbag was a breeze, and what's really interesting is these airbags only have one plug compared to the steering wheel airbag, which has 2 plugs. After that, we can move on to the footwell side panel, which also holds the lever so we can pop the hood. I feel like that's something we're gonna have to do a lot more often than I want to. Jokes aside, hopefully not. I want this car to last me a lifetime, and it's gonna be the new daily, so I truly can't wait. Before we throw on the rear seats, we need to throw on, I guess you could say, the carpet that goes under the seats. I'm gonna admit something, I totally forgot how long it takes to put back a whole F80 M3 interior, but it is time to start putting on the rear seats. I cannot get over the steering wheel. I don't know if it's OEM or if it's aftermarket or if it's a mix of both, but it looks incredible. The suede that's on it doesn't look great anymore, but it still looks amazing and it's going to go on the car. So let's throw on the steering wheel. It slides right into place, then it's being held on by a big bolt right in the middle. After that, we can throw on the airbag, connect the 2 plugs, and then clicks right into place. When it comes onto the headliner, we gotta put in the sun visors. Why? I don't really have to explain that. This scam of a car or that scam of a car keeps getting funnier. So I was told at the shop, oh, the airbag is already in it. You don't have to buy any airbags. This is one of the airbags they gave me. Well, the only one. This is for a Nissan Altima. Obviously, we can't forget about more of the rear. One of these big panels on each side. And then these 2 little panels on the top of the rear headrest. The whole seat is broken. I'm hoping this thing moves because look at that. That's terrible. Yet another piece we're gonna have to spend money on fixing for the seat. And voila, the interior for the F80 M3 is done. It's insane that when we got it, it looked like this, and now it looks like this. Let's see if I can put these doors on by myself. So I'm thinking we'll get these 2 bolts. Then I have this little chair, which I'm gonna set it on top. Then I'm gonna get the bolt. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is heavy. I gotta leave y'all over there. This thing is heavy. If BMW were to build a tank, this would actually be the hatch. Let's go. Door is on. But 1 door down, 3 more to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have doors. I repeat, we have doors. Forget weddings, forget graduations, forget everything else. We have doors. We're taking this cover off because we gotta get to the bolts that are holding this to the trunk. And holding this trunk onto the chassis of the car is only 4 bolts total. 2 on each side, then we disconnect the harness from inside of the car. But let me tell you, this thing was heavy. Oh my goodness, I got a cramp on my back. Ow. And there goes one more body part on Sally, which is actually turning into Veronica. So you could say this car is now fully, almost Veronica. Kevin was around, so he was nice enough to help us throw on the hood because this is definitely a two-person job. Big moment right here. We got a functioning hood. Let's go. Now we can go onto the fenders, and we're getting there little by little. But before then, we have to throw on the windshield washer reservoir, which actually sits right under the fender. By the way, I didn't know this, but each one of these fenders is $1,300. After fenders comes the regular, the side skirts. These bad boys clip up top, and then at the bottom there's a bunch of little 10mm that just go drilled in, and that's how you throw side skirts on. If the fenders are $1,300 a pop, I don't even want to know how much these are. To throw on the rear bumper, this big piece, that's way bigger than I thought, needs to go onto here because this is where the rear bumper bolts to. So I believe it goes like this. There we go. Then 1, 2, 3 bolts. Now we do the other side, and the bumper should be good to put on. Comment below, what is your favorite part of the F80? The rear end with a nice meaty quad tip exhaust, or the front end? And this bumper looks absolutely beautiful. The F80s have one of the coolest rear ends ever. And in comes the LCI taillights. This on the screen is a really good comparison. You can see the LCI compared to the pre-LCI. I messed up. This is actually for the exhaust flap, and the one that I threw down there is actually for the light. Mission recover the plug. Throw down the wire, wrap it around the plug, pull up the plug, drop the other plug. That's for the exhaust. Success. And just like that, another iconic part of this car is finished. Look how complete that looks. All we're missing is the front end. Behind me, we have everything we need to turn this almost complete BMW M3 into a complete running and driving BMW M3. We're gonna get into how I'm gonna put everything back because I genuinely have no idea how to do so. But first of all, when I picked up the bad M3, they told me they had every piece I needed to rebuild the car, including a radiator stack. Well, upon further inspection, I double checked the radiator stack. Do you guys see that Mopar logo? This is for a Dodge Charger. The scam gets worse and worse. Or maybe my stupidity. Either way, thankfully, we are really good friends with Naughty Auto Parts, and they sent out a whole radiator stack. That looks much more like a BMW radiator stack. Oh my gosh, that's beefy. Oh, Danny, you know where all the cooling system goes and you know how everything's routed, right? Nope, I do not. That's what we're gonna be using this. Is it gonna help? I hope. I don't know. I'm really nervous right now, but we got the schematics out. Pretty much goes how everything's routed-ish. Here we got the radiator, the 2 auxiliary radiators. And here we also have other schematics. I'm not feeling confident, but I think we're well equipped. We also have the internet, videos. First order of matter, we should start with the AC because it is hot in Florida and we need AC. Obviously provided by... Oh no. I wish I could make this up. The bracket that the AC goes on is cracked, broken, and it's missing where the AC threads to. So now we have to wait on that. Let's continue on with other important things. Now we're redoing the whole cooling system because we're missing hoses, but a lot of them look like this, which we do not want. And in with the new AC, not AC line. I'm like stressed with the AC, with the new coolant pipe. The other one wasn't terrible, but it was squished. It was kinked. We don't want to run that because we want to go on a massive road trip with this car and we want it to be 100%. Boom, boom. This one goes connected to the one from up here, just like that. And I believe this goes right to the heat exchanger that goes up, or the intercooler that goes up there. We can't forget this big plastic trim piece that goes in the back of the engine because a lot of things go over it. And if this doesn't go first, we're gonna have to take everything apart. Can't forget about the coolant reservoir. This is where all the coolant sits for the radiator and the engine itself. Very important. And check out this hose. I could have easily missed this. Unfortunately, I can't figure out how it goes mounted. Nothing makes sense. Literally nothing makes sense. But one hose goes connected to it from the bottom, as well as a plug. I think it goes mounted to the metal brace that goes across the engine bay. I'm gonna connect all the hoses to it, and then we're gonna mount it up here after we put the brace on, and hopefully that's the issue. Out with the old hose coming from the water pump, and in with the new hose. Have you guys ever seen a coupler like this? This is normal, but this is how it locks onto the heat exchanger. I don't even know how this works. Weird indeed, but even more tricky to get it on. There really is limited space in this side of the engine. There's so many things going on. It's definitely not a fun install. To the point where I even wondered if I got so badly scammed that this isn't even the same intake manifold. But thankfully it is, and we got it in. Now, I think we're good to go. I feel like when we put this on the car or in the engine bay, it's gonna finally start looking like a proper M3. So I believe this goes up here just like that. After we got everything in place, we need to be 100% sure we got everything tightened down. Last thing we want is some type of leak. Now we gotta figure out what goes here, but as we're looking at the diagram, it comes out of there into number 13, which goes to the top of the radiator. I think it's this one. And another reason we can tell is because we have this plastic piece still on, and it is actually still on this line. So, boom. Now, here's where things get a little crazy. I found this coolant pump underground, and I realized it's actually for the car. I thought we already had it, and it was the one on the driver's side part of the engine bay, but no. This car has a total of 4 coolant pumps. 3 electrical, 1 mechanical. This one that sits on the driver's side of the car, this one that sits right next to the turbo, this one that sits right behind the radiator, and then for the mechanical, well, it's the one that sits right in front of the engine. The oil cooler lines are kinked. Now, I think I can run it like this, but Naughty Auto Parts was awesome enough to send me out new lines, so we're gonna go ahead and throw them on. Before then though, we have to drain the car of oil, and we have to remember it doesn't have oil before we try to start it again for the first time. Oh boy, that's a mess. Oh my gosh, that's a mess. This thing is starting to look more like an M3 or an M4. Here we go now with the chassis leg extensions. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure, but this goes in, and then this goes bolted on. And what goes on here is the oil cooler. Very, very cool. Boom. If you really think about it, building a car from scratch is pretty much like building a big Lego. But I'm gonna be completely honest, I've never in my life built a Lego. I don't know, I've never been into it. And of course, after doing structural things, you have to test it. This is where the oil cooler for this car goes. It's basically pointing towards the ground. It's telling the rocks, hey, come here, just hit me real quick. BMW, what were you thinking? Yeah, and that is the reason why you see so many F80 M3s at auction with seized engines. Here we go, time for the radiator stack. It's heavy. Getting the radiator to fall into the mounts was definitely a challenge. How nasty this is. Before I continue to connect more hoses, I do want to put this frame on because I want to make sure everything's fitting properly. This goes buttoned down, and now we can actually throw on the auxiliary radiator, at least one of the two. And look how good that looks. Now time to throw on the scoops, and this car has a ton, starting with the top scoop, which has little scoops on each side that go right into the intake. After that, we got the bottom scoop, which we could say goes right into the radiator and the heat exchanger. I don't know, all we can say is German engineering. They know what they're doing, I'm just installing the parts. And let me tell you, it feels incredible knowing the brace fits like it should. Look how incredible it sits into place, compared to the tweaked chassis, which never fit properly. Almost forgot the scoops for the auxiliary radiators. Pretty important. To make sure the air's going right where it needs to go through that bumper. And now that is a nice piece of what you call German engineering. Thing that costs a lot of money, and I'm not sure if it even works, and that is the headlights. This car came with Icon headlights, meaning they're worth a lot of money, but as you can see, they have holes in them, they're missing modules, and well, I don't know if they work 100%. I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no idea how these go mounted, like absolutely no idea. Unfortunately, since all the brackets are broken, it's only being held on by one bolt. Now this side, I think the headlight is good, it has all the brackets, unfortunately it's missing this module, top module, this module, but since I know the headlight is good or should be, I got the modules. The modules were a couple $100s, but if it means the headlight works 100%, I'm okay with spending that much. And this one is good because it has all the brackets and it's kind of brand new, you could say. From eBay, we just got what we have been waiting for to finish up the front end, and that is the AC bracket. The one that broke off, well, now we can throw it on, finish everything, and yeah, here we go. I gotta see how I can put this on though. I gotta take out the alternator. There's a lot. Thankfully, we have really good amount of room to remove and throw on the new AC bracket. It's only being held on by a couple bolts, and it comes right off, and we can sleep the new one right on. I believe this bracket came off an X5. The one thing about European cars I've noticed, they use the same part number for a lot of different cars. After that's in, we can throw in the new belt, which wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. And in regards to the axles, I barely filmed anything because it was such a headache, and they're still in the car. It is time to install the intake system, how the car breathes, and well, there are two. One for each turbo because this car is twin turbo. Pipe comes out of the turbo and then into this one. Oh my, it's an actual car. Look at this. This is insane. Funny enough, I have one regular intake and one random carbon fiber, which looks very faded intake. This piece is what truly turns it into an M3. Oh, it does fit. It does fit. The most important part of this car is finished. If you told me we would be here right now a couple weeks ago, I would have simply laughed. Genuinely, I was terrified to take on this project. But here we are. Not fully done yet, but making an insane amount of progress. And we were also able to remove the axles. All we had to do was go to AutoZone and purchase a CV axle puller. What this does is it clamps onto the sides of the hub and it pushes in the axle. In our case, it was really seized on from the car sittings for so long, so it worked perfectly. After throwing the axles back into the good car, we can throw on the rotors, throw on the brakes, and the rear end is close to being done. What if I told you it is literally almost 12 at night, we still haven't finished the car. Thankfully, we were able to put both axles in the rear. Well, let's throw in some oil in the car. And if you haven't already and you're watching this far into the video, hit that subscribe. Let's get to 500,000 subscribers. I promise if you do that, I'll continue to make the best videos possible. And remember that ground cable that we ripped? Yeah, it arrived, but it cost me a total of $60 for that little thing. I know, insane. But it's good now. We can happily throw on the exhaust. Now we can go ahead and bleed the brakes using my favorite tool. We pump pressure into the master cylinder and then we can go to all the brake calipers, break them loose, and that's how we bleed it, as well as the clutch itself. I didn't think it was gonna work for it, but it actually did. And we have clutch feel now, which is great. Next up, another important point is the cooling system. And we got some baby water. I stole it from my niece that just came over actually. So we gotta mix this with this and we get the perfect formula. I actually went to BMW to buy a battery for this car. And the price, it's gonna make you throw up. A battery for my F80 M3 was going to cost me $2,700. And another thing I noticed is the driver's side headlight is not working, but the passenger side is, which is great. We're just going to have to fix those tabs somehow. And I'm thinking the driver's side isn't working because it is missing this top module. Unfortunately, this car is so dramatic, it turned the heat exchanger into a sprinkler system, meaning coolant is spewing everywhere. But that's not gonna stop us from at least driving it around the block at least. Crazy? Okay, I at least need to go forward and back. It's moving! It's moving! It's moving! Okay, oh, no brakes. Barely any brakes. Let's go forward. Yeah! He went forward and back. The car is still smoking like an absolute chimney. Now I'm wondering, did it never smoke before because there was never coolant in the system the first few times I started it? And now there is coolant in the system, meaning a bad head gasket, or possibly the turbos are shot. You really never know. Before we figure out if we have to spend $15,000 on a new engine and figure out why this car's smoking so bad, the first things we need to do is throw in a new heat exchanger because the old one was leaking like crazy. The leaky heat exchanger could be the issue as to why the engine's smoking so bad. It could also be that the exhaust was sitting out in the open for so long. It could also be we changed the valve cover gaskets and the whole valve cover, and the fact that the engine was sitting for a while before it was even started. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a bad idea from the start putting this thing on. I mean, it looked terrible. I told him just throw it in for me. I should have definitely just gotten like a newer one. That's what I was looking for right there. Let's disconnect these hoses, and there shouldn't really be any coolant in the car. Oh, that was easy. Then in with the new. Now to put the new one back, we have to do just that. Pop it back into place and reconnect both hoses that go into the heat exchanger. And if you don't know what a heat exchanger is, well, have you seen those big intercoolers that sit in front of the Supra from Fast and Furious, or those big turbo Civics? Well, a heat exchanger is basically an intercooler, except these turbos get cooled by water. And now we can do the bleeding procedure again. Switch the AC to the high setting at the lowest fan setting, and we have to press the accelerator pedal for as long as it takes. I've been holding this for way too long and nothing. And after taking way too long, the bleeding procedure has begun. Let's start up, see if it smokes, and please Lord don't smoke. Oh shoot. I left it in gear.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Right now it would start smoking. Look at that Christmas tree. You're gonna want to remember it for later. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, it's not smoking! Let's wait for it to warm up a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Hold on. Stop! It's not smoking anymore! I spoke way too soon. The car is smoking, but it really just looks like condensation to me. It doesn't look like a bad head gasket or a weird leak inside one of the cylinders. Now we need to do something else for us to actually be able to drive this car. In regards to the brakes, I made a massive mistake. We pretty much took apart the brake lines going into the ABS system, meaning we bled the brake lines, but because we didn't bleed the ABS, there's still a lot of air in the lines, so we have to do that. The ABS, or also known as the anti-lock braking system, stops your wheels from locking up when you slam on your brakes by rapidly pulsating the brakes, letting you steer and stop at the same time. Without it, you'd pretty much slide in a straight line. But here's the key, the system relies on brake fluid pressure. If there's air in the lines, which there is, the pressure gets soft, the pedal feels mushy, and the ABS can't react properly. But to bleed it is no simple task. We need to go into BMW's diagnosis program, ISTA, and follow its very precise instructions. And now that we're in the diagnosis programs, look how many fault codes this car has. 136. Yellow means they have fault codes, green means they're 100% good, and red means that there's no connection. And check out one of the things that doesn't have a connection: the electronic power steering. But for now, we need to focus on the brakes. We're gonna diagnose that later. First things we need to do is fully bleed the system through the calipers, which we actually already did. Next up, we need to make sure all the lines are closed, as well as the brake reservoir cap, and we can start the procedure.
Okay, I'm gonna hit continue, and I think we're gonna start hearing the system do its thing.
Yes, that is the ABS module making that sound, and now we need to press the brakes and let go of the brakes every couple seconds to make sure everything goes according to plan. And in typical Danny fashion, we haven't even gotten past step 1 because I keep getting an error.
Fault has occurred. Oh no.
And this could mean the car thinks I'm not pressing the brakes, which I obviously am. But I remembered something. The car is on and the brakes for some reason are on even though I'm not pressing the brakes. So what if the brake switch is bad? Thankfully, we have another brake pedal that we left the switch on.
I got the new one in. I don't know why it would be bad, but if that's the case, then it worked. Yes. Maybe that's gonna let us bleed the system now. Maybe it wasn't registering that I was pressing the brake. Maybe that's it.
And I'm proud to say that pretty much fixed it. We got past step 1, and step 2 is we need to do the same thing, but hook up the brake breather to the reservoir so we don't lose any brake fluid, and then we have to break loose the driver's side rear caliper. Step 3 is the same thing, except now we have to break loose the driver's side front caliper. In step 4, the finale is pretty much same as the first step. Make sure all the lines are closed and just pump the brakes while the ABS makes its horrible noise.
Hey, there should be nothing stopping us from driving this. Oh, we also still don't have power steering. What is going on? We're still gonna drive it though. We're driving! Here we go, here we go! Oh shoot, there's a car coming. Oh god. Okay, oh god, okay. No power steering.
Moments like this where you don't have power steering is when you realize how we take things for granted. Power steering has to be one of the best inventions ever made for a car. Even though we have a lot to figure out because the car still has over 130 fault codes, we have to take the little wins, and honestly, this one's a massive win. The car sounds incredible, drives amazing, shifts even more amazing, and most importantly, we didn't burn down.
No power steering, no front bumper, and this car hasn't really been driven since 2021. And guess what we're gonna do? Drive it to the shop because it's time to get it painted. I wanted to finish a lot of things before painting it, but parts have taken forever to get here.
I can't believe we're doing this.
I am so scared right now. Oh my god.
It's only been a couple seconds, but the car seems to be driving perfectly. Except for one thing.
I can't see my miles per hour. Oh, here we go. Green. We got green. Oh, shoot. We're gonna stick to the right lane. I can't go fast. Just pass me. What? Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
With that being said, we made it to the shop and it's time. This is the reason a lot of people don't paint their cars and rather just wrap them. Prep work is tedious, especially if you want a good paint job or a great paint job. The whole entire car needs to be sanded down. And while we're at it, I figured I'm going to also sand down the roof. It is carbon fiber and re-clearing it will be really awesome and it's gonna last a very long time. And the masking begins. We need to mask off the front windshield, rear windshield, as well as all the little trim pieces because we don't want things to get overspray or even worse, painted. Here we go. And you're probably still wondering, what color are you guys doing? Well, we're doing the car in the same Yas Marina blue. base coat is fully on the car, and that blue is looking absolutely phenomenal. Now we wait for it to dry a little bit, but before we do that, we need to take off all the masking paper from the roof because it is time for the clear coat and the roof is getting cleared.
Remove the papers. Nice, look at that.
Brand stinking new carbon fiber, baby. And it is time to clear the rest of the car.
Wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. Like, from when we got this car to what it looks like now, it is insane to think about we've made it this far.
Woo, I think Lucas killed it. I think he killed it again. We are finito. This is a very important step that a lot of people don't do, but obviously Lucas is doing. He sanded down, wet sanded down the whole entire car. And now he is cutting and polishing. Why, you may ask? Well, when you paint a car, sometimes there's something called orange peel, and it doesn't look great. When you wet sand down the clear and then cut and polish, you really get rid of all that and get that nice mirror finish everybody loves. The reason why a lot of people don't do this is it takes a very, very long time. But while we're at it, I thought of a great idea. The bumpers come with these reflectors that, to be honest, don't look great. So why not get rid of the reflectors? Yep, that's what we're doing. So we have to cover up this hole, and to do that, I'm sanding down the bumper with 80 grit. I put tape on the bottom side of it, and now Lucas is throwing on some fiberglass filler. After it dries, it's time to sand everything down. And let me tell you, thankfully, we have some air tools, because by hand, this would take me 5 times as long. I'm gonna let Lucas do the rest of the sanding because I don't want to burn through anything. And while he does that, I'm gonna start unmasking the car. Oh man, this is so awesome, just taking all the papers off and really seeing how the paint looks.
Bumper's so heavy, that's one thing I noticed.
My goodness, that front end just looks extremely exquisite.
Raise it.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Oh my gosh. The hood is stuck closed. Nothing we're doing is helping. It is stuck closed.
Oh my gosh.
In the bright side, we can see the latch all the way in the back.
In the bad side, I don't know if I can do this, but we're gonna try it.
Unfortunately, nothing was working and we couldn't really see anything. So let's take the wheel off.
Here we go. Let's go, Lucas. Hey. Let's go. With a lot of little issues aside from that, here she is. Here is Veronica in the Yas Marina blue, looking absolutely incredible.
And the first thing we're doing is tackling all these codes. I reached out to Remote Beamer, the man, the myth, the legend that helped me diagnose the issue with my 340i, and he's gonna check out why I don't have power steering, and the car has 126 codes. And so far, we have some incredible news. The ICM module and the DSC isn't coded to the car properly because I actually left these units inside of the car. That's why we're getting so many missing signals. Steering wheel functions aren't working, suspension functions aren't working, and the dash is an absolute Christmas tree.
Okay, I was told to start the engine. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! There's no more codes! Yes!
Taking that one coat at a time at 7 in the morning. Yes! Check that out, the DRLs are working. Now, you have to let me know down below. Do you rather have white LEDs or the yellow with the blue? I think they both look really good. And then the impossible happened. He asked me to check fuse F55. After checking, I don't have a fuse there.
There's no way that was the issue with the power steering. It was the fuse! Do I have power steering? Remote Beamer, did you get us power steering? Oh my, I don't want to turn the steering wheel. I'm so nervous. We have power steering! Yo!
He also went ahead and coated our lithium battery, which is very important.
It is such a blessing seeing everything positive happening after such a struggle with this car. And then a positive note, check this out. The new rotors came in, baby. We gotta throw these on before I even drive this car with power steering. We got some carbon fiber grills. Are you kidding me?
I can't believe we're at that stage of the build already. Modifying the car.
Who would have thought we would go from literally pushing this car up the driveway with nothing on it to it fully being done, good, drivable, daily drivable, to the point we're modifying it. Here we go. Please fit. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh. Look how ridiculously insane that looks. We need the M3 logo.
But one very important thing in this M3 build is we had to switch over the windshield as well, because the heads-up display windshield is completely different from the non-heads-up display. I didn't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a box, a wooden box straight from China. I can just imagine this package being thrown on a random ship, making its way over here. We need a moment of silence. It's been through a lot. Now, from what I remember that I purchased long ago, I think this goes on the rear.
That's insane, and believe it or not, this is just one piece to the rear diffuser.
Oh, it even comes like 3M, like pre-drilled or pre-applied 3M.
Right off the bat, I'm noticing this is real carbon fiber, not that fake stuff they sell online.
What the hell?
Oh, I know what this is. So this replaces the stock little rear diffuser that goes over the exhaust. So as you guys saw previously, I had to break my rear wing. This is insane, y'all. So this is actually a two-piece front splitter, and check out how it goes. So top part, I believe, goes like this. Oh my goodness, yo. Oh my gosh, this is not real. Insane. I mean, that is ridiculously awesome. And Mr. Bro actually sent me some good tips.
Added screw, added silicone glue between two leaves, and then lock screw to join them together. The glue becomes solid.
Now I believe this is the top side of the splitter, so this is what goes onto the car. So it should go just right on, just like that. This is insane, and that's not even the bottom part. Make sure this bad boy's clean. All right, there's officially no going back now. Okay, so I'm gonna do like a zigzag pattern, right?
When it comes down to applying the glue or silicone, it's also my first time. I'm just throwing it on in zigzag motions. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun.
All right, the good thing about glue is we can play with it, but okay, here we go.
And the great thing about silicone is it gives us a good amount of drying time, so we're able to wipe everything off and clean everything right. We're gonna carefully clamp it down on each corner. This should work way better than the tape. And now we can go ahead and do self-tappers from the back side towards the top side. And we need to be very careful when doing this, because the last thing we want is a random bolt going through my nice front splitter.
Ladies and gentle hands.
With gentle hands.
This might be one of the most aggressive front lips you'll see on a BMW. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Yes.
This front splitter needs to go up 100% straight. So we're using this 1x4 and it should help a lot because it's covering a lot more ground when we're jacking up the splitter. And we're going to go ahead and clamp down each side to the bumper so then we can get under the car and properly start bolting everything up. Originally, I just did self-tappers, but if we already did the silicone and we're really going all out on making this properly, we need to actually do things the right way. So we're using a bolt, a washer, and a nut to make sure this front lip is really one with the bumper.
Carbon fiber, look at that. Goes right here. Oh, I think I got the wrong side. Wait, no. Nope. Oh my God. This is insane. Somebody stop us. This is gonna be pretty simple. Boom, should go right. Oh shoot, just like this. Ah, wait, no, messed up. Yeah, there you go, that's better. Now here's a good question for y'all. Do you like this better with just the bumper, the color of the car? Or do you like it better when it's carbon fiber?
I will admit, I may have a carbon fiber obsession.
Step one, I say let's remove this because it's actually not part of the bumper.
Really simple. One bolt on each side and it should just pop out.
Well, there we go. Was that like the easiest removal ever? What? All right, I guess let's throw the new one on. Let's go. I did notice we also do have to drill the holes for this, but I'm hoping it just clicks right into place and the fitment is good. Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Unfortunately, everything didn't just click right into place. Looks like the rear diffuser is not going to be as easygoing as the front. And I'm also guessing this is why you pay a lot more extra, to not have to struggle during installation. And I don't have a choice. The thing with these products is there is no returns.
No. So
right off the bat, let's start drilling some holes and making these things fit because I didn't spend money for nothing. And I know it's gonna look awesome. The new strategy is throw the diffuser in place and then bolt it up to the OEM diffuser locations, and then we can try to start pushing in the tabs and hearing them click, meaning they went right into place. We're going to be using a little bit of silicone on the tabs as well because the tabs, they're not very great. They need a little bit of reinforcement. But overall, things are fitting properly. Just need a little bit of a push. Now we're doing the same thing with the other side. And like I mentioned, we cannot forget to clean up the silicone. First thing is clean out the area with alcohol. Then we can peel off the 3M tape and then we pretty much throw it on.
Talk about carbon fiber galore. That's insane. Absolutely love that little piece. And that piece was separate from the whole diffuser. So that's like a little extra thing I decided to buy. The whole time I've been trying to figure out how this goes. I was like, that looks really weird. So I went like this. That looks even weirder. This is how it goes. That fits perfectly. It makes a lot more sense.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I am a little obsessed with the silicone. Probably the funnest thing I've ever used, and well, it's extra reinforcement, so you can't say anything about it.
We gotta figure out how the heck to mount this. Oh my God. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? Oh my gosh. Oh! I gotta go for a walk. I gotta go for a walk. That's insane. There's no way something can look that good.
I have no words to describe how amazing this looks.
So I believe we're going to do this mount right here, that mount back there, come on to the other side, that mount, and the other mount back there.
By using these U-nuts as part of the installation. Now we have one more massive issue with this car, and that is the wheels. The wheels it has on do not make this car look like an M3. If anything, it makes it look like an old beat up BMW that was left abandoned. And this is such a special car, finding a wheel is not easy, but when in doubt, stick with what works. And that's exactly what I did.
No, we're not going with these. So I found an incredible set of wheels. Unfortunately, they're 3.5 to 4 hours away. And let's be honest, who the heck is gonna drive that long to get...
But I do have the best travel partner to make things awesome. So I decided instead of driving almost 4 hours to pick up wheels, why not just make it a little fun trip?
Let's hit the road, and by the way, it's been raining like crazy this whole time.
What do you think about the wheels for the M3?
sick.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you
one of the greatest wheels BMW has ever made, the 666Ms. Born from BMW's M division, forged in the fires of performance and purpose. These are 20-inch forged alloys that were first fitted in the legendary M4 GTS. And what I love about these cars is the fitment from factory already looks incredible. I mean, look at that rear end. Now, yes, I do plan on lowering it and doing all that fun stuff, but from factory, that's a crazy good fitment. Now, the front, not so much, but that'll get better. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's time to pull the car outside and really take a good look at it. And yes, I did forget to close the hood. And the amazing thing about all this isn't your typical M3. This car has an insane story behind it.
That is amazing. Are you sure that is amazing?
Remember when we had to push the car up the driveway?
It's cheese. Oh, by the way, garage update. Finally, look how much freedom. We have space.
Now, it is a little sad to see the old chassis, the original chassis go, but to be honest, it was a big eyesore and a big weight on my shoulders having this here, so the fact that it's gone makes me extremely happy.
No way. These are the sickest side skirts I've seen for this car. Are you kidding me? Also, I don't know why bro keeps doing this to me. He put carbongo again.
Cowabunga.
What does that even mean? Ooh, oh, what? Look how, are you kidding me? Oh, I'm gonna show y'all, hold on, give me a second.
Obviously it's not on right, but the fact that the fitment is so perfect and they look so good is a massive win.
If you know what this is, actually a lot of you know what this is. If you Google F80 or M3 or M4 swan neck wing, it is worth about $4,000. This one, $400. We got more packages and brother did send us hardware. Awesome. Crazy. And these are the mounts. Oh, that's nice. Good quality, actually. We also do have lowering springs for the car, as well as some spacers. All right, let's clean up the surface with some alcohol for putting on the glue.
We also need to clean the mating surface that's on the car with some alcohol.
But on the Beamer glue, it's generally like my favorite thing on earth, y'all. It is so fun.
And aside from the Beamer glue, we're also going to be doing some self-tappers, probably 7 or 6 on each side.
You know what, y'all? We needed this. That's just life. Oh, shit.
Once we got the side skirt in place, now we can do the self-tappers, which is really gonna secure everything while the Beamer glue dries. And well, now we have Beamer glue and self-tappers for reinforcement.
Look how insane that looks. This view right here literally reminds me of the new G80 series M3s. But this thing fits amazing. Check that out, y'all. No imperfections. Right up to the body line. Best fitting and easiest installing side skirts I've ever done.
Look at the naked side and now look at it with a side skirt. What a massive difference. Let's go to the other side now.
Ladies and gentlemen, in here we have GTS style taillights.
The BMW M4 GTS, one of the most legendary BMWs ever made. Limited to just 700 units worldwide. It was an absolute weapon going around the Nürburgring, and its price range almost doubled the regular price of an M4. These taillights came in that car, so we had to get them.
They did a great job because it's not like a nasty way too smoked. It's like the perfect amount of smoke.
2 10mm bolts.
Should just come on, right? Yep. Boom. And I do know all of you love comparisons. So here we go. Very similar yet very different. This is so universal. There's two plugs. One says from 2016 to 2018, this car, and the other one says 2013 to 2015. Boom. This one we can disconnect it from here. 8mm bolt.
And the trunk tail light is off.
Boom, just like that. Okay, I missed this in the back. It actually comes with a harness. That makes total sense because this cable is also super short. Now I'm not having a heart attack. And then we're gonna sneak it through this hole. And this just pretty much goes inside the car, so that's good, right? The fitment's not good because of the plugs.
Since the tail light came with two plugs, so it's more universal, it makes the fitment on the back pretty rough because it doesn't want to slide in all the way.
That's nice. There's a gap right there. Okay, roughly 10 minutes later, we got it to fit just as good as the OEM.
And then the cable that connects to the trunk tail light, well, we pass it through the inner trunk lining.
And it's gonna run to the top, attached to this, into this tail light. And you won't see this cable because obviously we still have to put all this trim in, but this goes covered like this and the cable's gonna be under here, so you can't see it.
We did something very similar with my 340i, so trust me, it's gonna look perfect and no one's gonna notice a thing. Comment below, do you like the GTS tail light or not? Me personally, I'm not too.
Oh, are you kidding me? I did it. That's insane. I didn't know it did that. Be honest, what would you go with? Let's click the unlock. 100% of the time, I would go with the GTS. I mean, look at that. The tail light with the diffuser. Oh my god. This is one of the sickest M3s ever. I love this car. Oh my god. That is the craziest thing. Now I'm pressing the brakes. So that's how the brakes look like.
But it is time for
The wing.
right off the bat, the first thing I want to do is mock it up just to see how it looks. But before we do that, we have to assemble the wing, starting with the plate that goes on top of the wing, and this is what the mount goes onto. It goes held on with Allen bolts, and I will say this whole kit came with silver hardware, which in my opinion doesn't look great, so we are going to be switching out all this Allen hardware to the same but in black. Now we can throw the mounts on, and something really cool, this wing should be adjustable, meaning we can incline or decline the wing however we want, which is super cool.
Here we go. This thing is actually pretty light. I'm so nervous. I am so nervous right now. All right, so this goes mounted more like towards the front of the trunk, just like that kind of. Obviously, we're still missing the flaps, the end blades. We could flip this a little bit more straight. Okay, stand over there and tell me what you think.
I haven't seen anything like that. I like it. It gives it like a tracky.
Like a track, right? Wait, hold it. I want to see it again. I like it. I think that's gonna look sick.
Call it ricer.
Am I a ricer?
I like it, but maybe a little rice.
All right, we got Lucas here. Let's try to install this wing.
But we do have to drill into this hood to be able to install it. But to ensure the wing is 100% in center, first things we have to do is measure the actual trunk, which we got 50 inches. Half of that is 25 inches. Next, we measured the distance between the wing's mounting points. Once we had that, we mark equal distances from the trunk center outward to ensure perfect alignment. At least I hope.
15.3.5 is the mid. I don't even know what we're doing at this point.
35.
That's right again.
Are we just throwing out numbers?
But that's why Lucas is here, because he's way better at doing things like this than me. I kind of get too excited and rush things. He actually takes his time, does the right measurements. We're masking everything to make sure we 100% drill in the right spots. But even though we measured everything to our best abilities, the main thing is passing the eye test. It needs to pass the eye test.
That actually looks good to me. That looks good. We got the guides now to know exactly what we're gonna drill in the trunk. What Lucas is gonna do is pull up a little bit of primer in here, rub it off here, and then when we set it down on the tape, it'll create the outline of the primer, of the hole, you'll see.
This little trick created a perfect outline. Now, we could have used a marker or a whiteout. I simply didn't have anything, so we did this instead. Better than what I was gonna do.
Ready? Yes, sir. There's no going back now, Lucas.
Wait.
Oh man, I am so nervous. We got all these holes drilled and there's really no going back now. We have to make this look good, and I really think it will look good.
This one is perfect. This one we can get to as well. Now, so you can see this one, we're probably gonna have to cut here a little bit so we have a bolt to go through. This side, same thing. Much better than I thought though. And I do know, I did look up a couple videos. The expensive $4,000 wing does have like a carbon fiber backing. That's like a plate that goes back here for extra support, which I think I'm gonna go ahead and 3D print something like that later on because I completely forgot to. So, but for now, we should be okay. All right, so the first Temu hurdle just hit us with this spoiler. So I was trying to thread the bolts because it came with a bunch of bolts. Wait, this is threaded. So this is threaded, but this one isn't. They just didn't feel like threading this one, so. Yeah, that's just what happens when you're buying from cheap places.
That definitely caught me off guard. I think bro was mid building this and then he got distracted with sending me the video.
Join them together.
If you've never had to thread a hole, good. But if you want to know how, it's pretty simple. First, you need to find the right tab. What I typically do is I grab the bolt that I'm using and then I put it up against the tab. If they meet perfectly, then that's the one you need. I then like to put a little bit of oil or grease and you slowly run the tab into the hole. It pretty much cuts grooves for the bolt to screw in clean and tight. And for us to get to one of the holes in the trunk, we actually have to do exactly what we just practiced with the front splitter. We're cutting a bigger hole on the first layer of skin so our bolt can actually reach the second layer of skin and thread to the wing itself.
Here we go. Are the holes right or are they completely wrong? These two are the easiest to make bigger. This one we gotta go through 2 layers. We gotta make the hole a little bit bigger. It happens.
Thankfully, it's nothing too drastic and it won't really affect anything.
So we are gonna take it back off because I am gonna use some silicone glue. But as of now, ooh, that looks straight and is on.
Now as for the next one.
Oh, so close. Actually, that's perfect. Yeah. Nice. All right, we got one side perfect.
And now it's time to throw on the wing, the actual meat of it all. Ooh, I cannot wait.
This actually looks sick. And the awesome thing is you can like move it, which is awesome.
Now, unfortunately, I think they might have made another mistake and sent me out the wrong part.
Both say L. Now, they're both different, so that's good, right? It's not the same thing. I'm so confused right now. Oh, wait. Yes. I had a mini heart attack. Since there's like no rubber piece under here, it sits pretty much metal on the trunk. We don't want that. Water can get under this, so we're gonna be using my favorite new chemical.
Now, this is going to be the hardest silicone / beamer glue job I've done so far because once we really tighten down these mounts, all the silicone's going to be squished out. So we have to make sure we clean everything thoroughly to make sure there's no random residue and make sure the lines look just perfect. Yup, look at that, just as I expected. So we have to get to cleaning because we have a very small time frame from when this will be nice and cleanable to hard and uncleanable. Oh, yeah, Lucas got completely infected, by the way. And now look at that. It came out so good. This is something I'm very proud of.
All right, here we go. Now, I do believe I'm missing some hardware, so we have to go purchase some hardware later. But for now, I really just want to throw this on and okay. One of the awesome things about the M cars is they're kind of already low from factory. But as you're seeing and I'm holding in my hand, and I said earlier today, we got springs for the car. Some ABACs, iBox, lowering springs. I believe these lower the car about 1 inch, which should be absolutely perfect for the fitment. So I did buy brand new of these so we can have a nice comfy ride.
To remove the rear shock, one long 60mm bolt and nut at the bottom. After that, you gotta get the 3 bolts up top, which are hex bolts. And don't forget to unplug it because this one is EDC. What does that mean? I can control my suspension. I still haven't done it though, but yeah.
That was actually extremely easy. And the fact that this isn't going up, we might need new shocks. But for now, I mean, I didn't know, so we're gonna stick with these. But I believe we have to take off the top bolt off, so then we can go ahead and get to this. Now we gotta disconnect that plug / little motor because that, I guess, activates the motor and it'll spin the strut in case you want it stiff or not stiff. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's a pretty cool mechanism. Okay. This is what happens with age, even in a very expensive car. BMW.
Now, before we put back the shock, we have to remove the spring to put the shorter spring in. And to do that, we have to remove the rear camber bolt. Now, you want to mark this so when you put it back, you know exactly where it goes. I totally forgot to do that. You're also going to probably have to hammer it out like I did. Be careful you don't mess up the threads. Thankfully, I didn't. Once you do that, you can pull down on the bucket and the springs just slide over.
Here's something else about me. I would rather do anything on a car instead of suspension. I hate working on suspension. Now I just noticed at the bottom it's further away and here they're more close together. So I gotta figure out which way's the top and which way's the bottom. Switch out the top component of the spring and the bottom component to the new spring, and we pretty much just do everything in reverse order. Getting the camber bolt back on though, an absolute pain. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also got 12mm spacers for the front and the rear. The fitment for this car is gonna look phenomenal. But yes, we still do need a very bad alignment. I mean, we very badly need an alignment. And to remove the spring from the other side, it's the same thing. Thankfully, we already did it once, so theoretically, we should be able to do this a little bit faster. We're not going to be removing any components of the suspension to remove the spring. All that we're removing is the sway bar end link, as well as the bolt and nut that hold the strut in place. Once that's done, we're going to compress the strut all the way up with our jack, and that's going to pretty much act like our spring compressor. Once that's done, we can go to the top side and unbolt that 18mm bolt. Once the nut is fully off, we can lower the jack and check it out. We can easily change the spring without even removing the strut. How insane is that? Now we can do the other side. And I did take a good look at the strut. It looks straight to me, so I think, and I'm praying, it's just we need to get a good alignment. Compared to other cars, this is so much easier, and a lot of people will be very afraid to change out springs on a BMW because the brand to others sounds so complicated. But in reality, as you're seeing, this might be the easiest spring change I've ever done. Another little missing piece, the BMW logo. There's nothing more important than this. So let's throw that on real quick. I know we're still waiting for the tow hook. That hasn't gotten here yet. And the wing back there is not making any weird noise, which is an amazing plus. Would you believe me if I told you this car's on right now? I'm gonna put the mic up to it.
It ain't got no gas in it.
That is so bad. Valvetronic design, equal length, full exhaust for the F80 M3. Here is the full Valvetronic equal length exhaust for the F80. And you can even see this really cool kind of H-pipe style design. It's not really an H-pipe. Actually, maybe it is, I don't know. But either way, it's 3.5 inch from here on back. It's gonna sound amazing, aggressive, exotic, and it's gonna scream like an M car should scream.
Special ops.
I feel like I'm in an action movie installing this thing. So sick. Now these 3-inch downpipes with the nice Cerakote coating don't only look amazing, it's going to help when we go tune the car because less restriction, faster spool for the turbos, and a lot of miles per gallon. Carbon fiber tips. Step 1 to any exhaust or downpipe job is jack up the car. The downpipes and the exhaust meet right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And 13. Now we go to the back. Now we have to remove this whole sick bottom side of the carbon fiber diffuser. Oh, I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to scratch it. The muffler is being held on by 2 hangers, 1 on each side, and they're both being held on by 2 13mm nuts. We're lowering down the transmission jack so we can fully remove the exhaust from the bottom of the car. That's not ideal. It just started pouring like crazy though. Oh God. Full on random hurricane. Then again, we're in Florida, but everything's getting wet. Under the car's getting wet. My tools are getting wet. My phone's getting wet.
But we have a goal that we need to achieve, and we're gonna do just that. Go ahead and start disconnecting the downpipe from the turbo. And to do so, we're going to be needing a 13mm ratcheting wrench. Why? Because it is extremely tight to get the V-band clamps, and in my opinion, this is probably the best option. Now, this is a pretty surreal moment for me. In case you're new here, my first ever BMW I bought 2 years ago, and it was an E92 335i. And the first ever downpipes I did was on that car. So the fact that we're now doing downpipes on an F80 a couple years later is an absolute dream. That would not have been possible without you guys watching and supporting all these videos. So thank you. So we got both of the bolts and the clamps off. Now I think there's a little bracket with 2 bolts on it. We can remove that, and I think we can just pull out the downpipes. We also need to remove this bracket. It's being held on by these Torx bolts. This pretty much keeps both together. We need to get rid of that. And we are going to be transferring this piece onto the new downpipes, because this is what pretty much bolts up to the exhaust. But the only things left off for the downpipe are the 2 little bolts that are held onto the bracket, and then they're ready to come out. Here we go. First downpipe. Let's go. Yes. And here is a really good side-by-side. Who would have thought we'd be putting this nice of downpipes on the M3, let alone this nice of an exhaust? Wow. But to switch over the O2 sensors, it's as simple as it gets. They're 22mm, and then just thread them in. Now, we did have one casualty in the uninstall. I noticed the threads for this clamp are absolutely destroyed. And then I looked at the bolt, and it all makes sense. Thankfully, from doing so many BMW downpipes throughout the years, I have some clamps laying around with great threads. So we had to snag one, as well as a new bolt. And we're good to go. Before putting everything back to place, like I said, we have to remove these gaskets from the turbo. And thankfully I had new ones laying around, because these are always recommended to replace when doing downpipe. And how they work is really weird. You push them in place and they sit a little taller, so when you push in the downpipe and tighten everything up, it really seals any leaks. Now, my method for doing downpipes, I always put the V-band clamp on the turbo side. I then meet the downpipe to the turbo and try my best to snake the clamp over the turbo and the downpipe while still pressing the downpipe on so it doesn't fall off. Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing. That's for sure. We need to make sure the whole exhaust is in place, so we're just gonna mock it up for now. Now that the downpipes are in, it is time for the exhaust. Now, we also did have to purchase new exhaust gaskets. And just like that, it is time to start throwing on the new exhaust, baby. Let's go. First section of the Valvetronic exhaust, finito. That was actually pretty easy. I did get a little confused though. Thought it was the wrong pipe the whole time, because I thought this hanger was supposed to sit on the outside, but it actually sits on the inside and then it bolts up to here. So we got the right pipe, we got the right exhaust. It's not this one. That's the very last piece. I think this is next up. Here we go. The exhaust came with little stickers on each pipe, so you know exactly where each one goes. This one's A, so this one goes like this. Look at that. We need a transmission jack so we can raise this exhaust a little bit, move it this way so we can clamp this first mount in the front. That's gonna give us more leverage to do the rest of the exhaust and just make sure everything's lining up properly. Now's a really good time to ask, what is your dream exhaust and on what car do you want to throw that exhaust on? I think mine would be a Valvetronic on a V10 or a V12. That would be insane. That mount is mocked up. I don't really want to tighten everything. We're gonna continue on back, and then when we get everything in place, we'll tighten everything, because it fits perfect, but some parts are tight, so we gotta make sure we do everything correctly. That being said, on to the next pipe. This is the next pipe. 3.5 inches of pure M power scream, baby. I'm so excited. I've never seen these clamps before, but and then this sits right over that. Then the clamp sits over both pipes, and obviously when you tighten it, it tightens both pipes together. Honestly, I don't hate it. There's so much empty space in here. It's time to fill it up with the good old Valvetronic muffler. Ooh, that's lit in nice. Look at that. Guys, this is like the most awesome, easiest exhaust install ever. we need to set up the valves, which is going to be super easy, and we're going to be using the stock system the car comes with because of this harness. I'm not sure how most people or most shops do it, but what I'm doing is grabbing the motor that comes from the stock exhaust and pretty much putting it onto the Valvetronic. It's really simple, only being held on by 3 bolts. You just have to line up the motor with the little key that then goes onto the valve, and it all lines up perfectly to close and open. And now the valve should open and close. Yes, let's go. Now I am using an app to manually open and close them because I'm not turning the car on just yet, but if it's working with the app, it's going to be working with the stock system the car comes with. So awesome. So when we put in sport, the valves open. When we put in efficient, the valves close. And now it is time to throw on the tips. This was by far the most difficult part, to be honest. There was a lot of taking off, putting back on, lining up, taking off, putting back on, lining up, because I really want this car to be as perfect as I can possibly make it. Now that we got everything pretty much lined up, it is time to put on the carbon fiber tips.
And this is a cold startup on the full Valvetronic exhaust.
Even with the valves closed, that cold startup was just perfect.
Now the valves are closed. That's crazy. we got when there's no cops around, and we have when there is cops around.
But check out just the difference in idle when the valves are open.
Oh my gosh! The turbo sounds!
And not even just that, look how amazing the exhaust looks. Absolute beauty from rear to front, from front to rear.
Time to fix all the gapping. Lucas is gonna be here anytime now, so we have to remove the front bumper. And funny enough, you know how we've been waiting for the brackets for this headlights to come in? Oh boy, guess what? 2 more 8mm on the side, but finally, all the way from Latvia, the brackets for that headlight are in, and it's gonna help make the fitment actually perfect. Let's get the top bolt, and the tow hook cover should also be coming in soon. Let's go. This thing is heavy now.
Funny enough, BMW sells brackets in case you break the brackets that are on your headlight, and they pretty much just go bolted up, which is really generous because these headlights each is like $2,500 used, and that explains why I keep gluing on my brackets and buying things like this. As you can see, the headlights even have the guide for the bolt to bolt into. It's really cool, actually. I've never seen anything like this.
What if I told you we waited over a month for no reason? This long bracket for the headlight isn't lining up with this right here. It's not even straight ahead. I don't know if you can see it, but this thing is curved and this one is straight, meaning that bracket doesn't really work. But before I threw out the old chassis, I noticed this hanging on. Is the original bracket for this headlight that goes just like that. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes like that, and you know what that means?
That means we're gonna be gluing it on. Yep, you heard that right. Now, we already glued on one bracket on this headlight, and it's been perfect since. It hasn't broken. I mean, this is very, very hard glue. So even though I don't really want to do that, we have to. Now we're gonna let it dry up a little bit, then we can clean it up, paint it black so you can't really tell. But while we wait for that and for Lucas to get here soon, let's throw on the front reinforcement bar because I will actually forget. It's 4 bolts on each side. Obviously it's sliding on perfectly because this chassis is 100% straight, and there's 4 mounting locations, 2 bolts and nuts on each side.
Time to align all the panels. Lucas is here. We're going to be aligning the whole front end. And if you're wondering, Danny, how are you gonna get the exact measurements correct?
I 3D printed little gap tools that show, like for example, this is 10mm, this is a 4mm, but then you're also asking, how do you know the correct size?
I have hijacked BMW headquarters and acquired a program called ISTA. I'm just kidding, I didn't hijack it, I just YouTubed it and downloaded it. But in this program, I have the exact measurements of every single body panel this car needs to have, meaning it's gonna be perfect. And to be 100% sure, I have flown out someone from Germany, and he's gonna take a look at the car.
Actually?
Yeah, his name's Mr. Munich.
I'm ready.
Do you think he's gonna be 100%?
Maybe.
And we first start with the headlights. The passenger side headlight, that is. The one that we just glued. And let me tell you, the glue's on there like swimwear. But in all honesty, the headlights were so out of whack on this car. Once we get the headlights to be fully straight and buttoned down, we can start working on the bumpers. And just so you have a nice visual, these headlights have 4 mounting points. Before, they were only being held on by 2. So yeah, just imagine how bad the fitment was. And the bracket at the top is also working perfectly. And now that the bumper's fully on, it is time to look at the measurements.
Okay, I'm prepared with the documents, but I have no idea how to read them.
That's a big gap right here. Why is that like that? It's within spec, and I guess that's within spec. Down here isn't though.
As you can see, it is a little bit confusing, but I think we're gonna do a really good job at getting this fitment at least 95% there. Overall, there is a lot of moving around, unbolting the headlight, moving it up and down, bolting it, tightening it down, and remember that bracket that we talked down upon? Well, on the driver's side headlight, this is the one bracket that's also missing. And unfortunately, I don't have the one that snapped off. So I had to DIY the bracket that didn't fit on the other headlight, and we somehow made it work with some good old human ingenuity. So now we're at a spot where we need to move the bracket that comes on the car for it to properly fit the fender, because each one of these fenders is $1,300 and I don't see a reason for spending that much money when we can make it work. And make it work we did. We got this car fitting as good as possible by twisting the brackets here and there, moving around the fender a ton as well as the hood. Here we go. Valves are turned on in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God! Stop playing. Oh my gosh! This is insane! What? The sound and the downshifts with this manual transmission is insane. Are you kidding me? The difference between the valves closed and valves open is actually... Wow. What? That is actually insane. And let's stop talking about the exhaust for a sec. This car is handling amazing. At high speeds, it's riding perfect. No drivetrain malfunctions. Wow, I mean, this is truly me driving a dream come true. I really cannot wait to see Crystal's reaction in a little bit, because she saw me go through everything. Working on the car, working on these videos, researching, and stressing over everything. And honestly, I may have enjoyed it a little bit too much.
drive because I don't think it's tuned, but
That is so many.
so many pops. Okay, be nice in the comments. That was my first ever time parallel parking. Actually, it was my second time, so be nice. I heard someone build this car from scratch.
I heard that too.
I love me some Chinese boxes. We're making our very own $100,000 interior, baby. Let's go. Check that out. This is gonna go taped on, pretty much 3M taped on into the back of our seat. Oh, that's gonna look insane. It's gonna look like we have carbon buckets.
It really is insane to me. You can buy all these things straight from China, the manufacturer, for a discounted price. And this is what the backs of the seats look like now. Old and some weird plastic / rubber. Funny enough, these at the time were the most expensive seats you can get for this car. So we have to upgrade them and make them just that much better.
Make sure y'all cleaning it up. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Hey. First thing I do want to see, how is the fitment? Oh. Eesh. Actually, oh, brother. Are you kidding? Yo, I love China, man. I might move there. This is sick. Okay, now that we know it fits good, and it slides right in like a little glove, so you cannot mess this up at all. You really can't. This is so cool. Whew. Okay, really line it up. Put my foot in there. Oh, maybe not.
And after we line it up, it's pretty much just push it into place, so the double-sided tape really makes it stay in place. Really not difficult at all. This might actually be the easiest install of this whole series so far. I think we just made a $10,000 Temu interior.
But I am honestly thankful I literally left the best steering wheel I've ever installed for such a special car.
Not only do we pick up an Alcantara with carbon fiber, M stitching and flat bottom wheel, it also has a very unique light bar at the top that goes with the RPMs of the car.
I know there's a lot of light up steering wheels out there, but I just love this one. You see how subtle the screen is? I love that about this. And I did notice it does come with this OBD2 port, and I do see a power wire and a ground wire. I've never installed a steering wheel with a light up screen, so we're gonna have to figure this out together.
Step 1, we want to disconnect the battery terminal so this doesn't happen when removing the airbag.
Take the airbag out. Also, do M cars come with a leather one? I feel like they do. Now we grab a 60mm and go to town, baby. Woo! So, oh, we got one more little plug up here. Boom.
Is that it?
Oh, we got one more. It's 3 plugs. 3 plugs, y'all. Boom. Look at that.
I'm calling it now. This might actually be my favorite modification or upgrade we do to this interior. Just wow. We really are building the Dream M3. To think this car was pretty much nothing a couple months ago. When removing all these pieces from the steering wheel, it's actually pretty simple because everything is held on by T20s. So as long as you have a T20 bit, you should be okay. But in typical Danny C fashion, we found something pretty sketchy.
What in the world? Check this out.
For some weird reason, these two wires are just happily wrapped around each other. So we're gonna have to solder this together nicely.
Plan for the wiring. We're gonna put this red wire and pretty much splice into this red wire that's coming from the whole harness. And then for the black wire, which is a ground, we're gonna use this little existing ground down here. Shouldn't be too difficult at all. Now typically you want to test things like this out before you solder anything in, but trust myself, I think it's gonna work. If it doesn't, I'm gonna hate myself.
Thank God we found this issue, because who knows what kind of issues this could have probably brought down the line.
This is hands on the coolest wheel I've ever had. Oh my gosh. But okay, everything's buttoned up. I mean, it looks like a brand. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is gonna completely change the feel of the car when driving. It's not working. Oh, wait.
The wheel wasn't working, but I forgot to plug in the OBD2 that it comes with. And look at that. It works. It's working.
I'm revving. so sick. Oh my gosh. And of course, it also looks a million times better when it's on the car. Anyways, the next modification is a must. This is my least favorite thing on this car. Check this out. Everything looks amazing except the screen. It is way too small and far back. I mean, yeah, it's way too small. Especially when the newer BMWs just have nicer, bigger screens. These little ones are at a point where they just look outdated. Look at the size of that thing. Okay, so the unit is 13 inches. Here's like the whole... Oh, that's a lot. We have had this dash pretty much bare before, so we have a good idea on what exactly we need to do because I have terrible memory, but this of course needs to come off. Okay, be careful. Boom, look at that. And little trick, you can pop out these two middle buttons. Then the screen is being held on by these two. Oh, I dropped it. I found it. I got it. The screen should come up. Look at that. And it's just one plug holding it in, which is kind of crazy. Oh gosh, imagine I broke my windshield. I would cry. And here's a great comparison. Yes, size matters. This is going to be so much more enjoyable. This is actually kind of insane. And how this goes mounted on the cars with the help of this bracket. And it's super simple. You pretty much, it just slides in. All right, here we go. Oh, that is so much better. That is so much better. Yes, it's so perfect. I was missing this. Like every time I drove this car, it's like, the screen is so small. This is perfect. But here's kind of how you put the screen together. You start by plugging in the connectors to the screen itself. There's an antenna, a white power plug, a purple one that I believe sends signal from the car's unit to the screen, and a random blue one. And from the car's infotainment, you only have to disconnect the massive plug. You then take out this little green one, move it to the new harness, then you plug the old harness into the new one, and then back to the unit. Did that make sense? I don't think so. Let's go, it's working. It's working. And if we hold menu, it says no signal. So we got the screen, but it's not connecting to the car. Huh. All right, let's figure it out. After swapping back to the OEM/purple connector, now the car's infotainment works, but it's still extremely glitchy. Thankfully for this one, I believe we have a solution, and that is with the one that sent it out to me, Vehicle Virals.
Okay, so do option number 3, which should say MBT_F48 8.8.
Yeah, 10.25. All right. Ooh, okay, it's actually working. Thank God that was an easy fix. We just had to go into the settings and change a few things. Look at the size of the screen now and compare it with the before. There really is no comparison. This is awesome. Actually, what do you guys think? Let me know. Is it too big or is it just perfect? And I can confirm these modifications have absolutely transformed and changed the feel of this car when you're driving it. Especially the steering wheel. Since you're grabbing it and now there's a visual to it. Wow. Favorite modification of the whole car.
The color doesn't count. I really like the... What is this called? The lip?
In the front?
Yes. Oh, and the wheels. You know what?
Women.
Honey, we need one. The wheels?
I like the wheels.
Wheels?
Wheels, check, wheels.
I can agree with you because I said it in the top 3 favorite modifications. These wheels are absolutely awesome, but honey, we're not ending I know I told you to come with me to help me film, but I lied. That's right, I lied. Today, we are showing you how to drive manual in the M3. Another reason why I modified the interior, so you feel nice in there.
I'm driving. Okay.
How are you feeling?
Excited.
Neutral. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You're going to press the clutch and the brakes at the same time and click the start button. Every time you put it into gear or you have to switch gears, you need to engage the clutch, okay? Right. So right now we want to go forward, right? So you would press in the clutch, okay. all the way down. Okay. Can you move it forward or no? That's as far as it goes. Then you're gonna put it in first gear. Yeah. That's first gear. Don't let go of the clutch. Now you're going to release the clutch slowly and press on the accelerator. Very slowly, take your time. But you have to let go slowly of the clutch. Not so much of the gas. Let go of the... Keep going a little more. See the car's moving? Like okay. Slowly.
Okay.
So there we go, there we go, there we go! Yeah! Let's go! Now you can give it gas. Gas. Gas.
Yeah.
Keep it a little more. Now let go of the gas. Let go of the gas. Yeah, clutch. Second. Now clutch and gas. Oh my goodness! She's a natural! Yep. Yes! And today is the day to put some respect in Veronica's name. We have some pure stage 2 turbos capable of over 900 wheel horsepower. Huh? These are one of the best turbos you can get for this car out there. This is crazy.
So, I guess we could say a turbo's job is simple. It takes exhaust gases, spins a turbine, and forces more air into the engine. But I noticed my turbos are starting to smoke. So instead of replacing them, I'm upgrading to the Pure Stage 2 Plus. These use billet compressor wheels, a larger turbine, which means better airflow.
I only got these turbos because I met with some guy outside of my gym, and I pretty much got them for half of what they're actually worth. Actually, like a 70% discount. Pretty crazy. So I hope they work. But I got more boxes. Turbocharged pipes, I believe that's what it's called. In this wrinkle black. Oh, a better J-pipe, I think this is what it's called. J-pipe, maybe? A turbocharged pipe. And I love this material, by the way. The new top mount heat exchanger or intercooler. But okay, we gotta take a lot apart here, so let's get started. M cover comes off, there we go. And hallelujah. There we go. Take this sensor out. It was that easy. Now you can see turbo numero uno, turbo numero dos. And these plastic pipes you're seeing they're going to the top intercooler are actually the ones that are getting replaced by this pipe. So check that out.
Now step 1 to removing the charge pipe is disconnecting the bolt that's holding it onto the turbo.
And then we disconnect it from up here. Look at that. Boom. BMWs are easy to work on. Cut to when I'm struggling and hating my life removing the turbos.
Air intake has to come off, so we need to disconnect the MAP sensor.
Boom. Okay, here we go. Yes.
And now that the intakes and charge pipes are out of the way, we can get a nice look as to where the turbos are. We can disconnect it from the turbos. It's pretty much being held on by a clamp, and it's a 13mm bolt keeping it on. And most of the time these clamps really get stuck on, so we need a pry bar to really pry it open and have the downpipe be loose.
Oh my gosh, it might be possible. Hold on. Oh, this can't go more back. We do have to get new gaskets too, which I forgot to order. I forgot the O2 sensors. I got too excited and forgot the O2 sensors. Ugh. Remember when I put this in and it was brand new? Let's go. Here we go. Oh, it's possible. It's possible. Yes. And honestly, I can just leave it like this hanging. I don't have to fully disconnect it. This literally made my whole day, my whole night.
The fact that we didn't have to drop the whole exhaust, we saved so much time.
Now, I'm a little scared and I do have to figure out which lines I have to disconnect from the block because there's a coolant feed and I believe there's a oil feed. Coolant drain, oil drain. We just gotta disconnect those lines and then disconnect the actual turbos from the manifold, and then we should be good. This has been so good so far.
And just like that, we're one step closer. One step closer to the final modification for this car. After installing these big turbos, we have completed the Dream M3. What a journey it's been. And the theme of this journey has been struggle, which is what we're struggling with right now. The heat shields are easy, but...
Okay, I'm a little stressed. Getting to all those fittings that go into the turbos and all those oil lines and coolant lines have been a pain. I literally have not gotten one out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to support the engine from the bottom. We're going to take off that engine mount, and that should give us enough room to get the ball rolling.
But one thing I noticed is check out the downpipe from the front turbo compared to the rear turbo. There's some serious combustion issues. I think the car may be running just very rich. I don't know, but that does not look normal. And possibly this could be the issue and not the turbo itself. Let me know what you guys think.
I had to borrow this bar from our buddy Gus. Shout out to Gus. And if you don't know what this does, so this pretty much sits right over here on the frame of the car, right? Sits on the frame on this side, and then we can actually thread this tow hook in here. Really cool that BMW has a spot for a tow hook on the engine block. And then these are gonna go through the tow hook.
And as we turn the middle hook clockwise, it's going to start lifting the engine, pretty much keeping it on the air, allowing us to remove the motor mount without being sketchy. Now, the motor mount is two pieces. One is the bracket that goes attached to the engine, and the second piece is the actual motor mount that goes attached to the bracket and then the subframe of the car. The first thing we're bolting is the bracket that's coming from the engine, which is being held on by 4 E-sockets.
And now we have, look at that. Boom! You don't even have to remove this. I did because I didn't know, so yeah.
Another thing I didn't know I had to remove was the steering rack. Thankfully, this one's not too difficult. It's just 2 bolts and nuts, and you can slide it right out of place. To remove the turbos from the engine block, we have to first remove all the lines that attach it to the engine block. Coolant lines and oil lines, starting with the oil drain. Next, we can do the coolant line that's going into the turbo, and disconnect the coolant hose that's going from the turbos directly into the water pump. I think this is gonna get messy now. The turbos also need oil from the engine block, so now we have to disconnect the oil feed lines. And by the way, all of these are T30 bolts. Pretty simple. And now finally, we can go ahead and start disconnecting all the 10mm bolts and one 11mm bolt that's keeping the turbo attached to the engine block. This should be fun. Now, to remove all these studs from the turbo manifold, we did have to get extremely creative. BMW, why did you make these turbos so difficult? This has been a pain, y'all. I'm going through it right now, but I think the turbo's about to come out. Here we go. This might be the happiest day of my life.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Yes! Oh my gosh. And the funny thing is, I didn't even buy new studs, so the fact that all the studs are still perfectly on the car, let's go. This makes everything worth it. Let's go. I had no idea doing turbos on the F80 S55 engine would be this annoyingly difficult. This was tough. I mean, getting all these little lines out, what a pain. But ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Let's go.
But of course, this is a twin turbo, not a single turbo. So we still have another turbo to remove. And I do have a feeling it's not going to be as difficult as the first one, since there are no lines attached. So I pretty much only need to get the nuts that are attaching it to the engine block. Easier said than done though.
Dropped. Can I get it out through here? I think they gotta have to go through the bottom. Never mind. Here we go. Turbo number 2. Turbo number 2.
And even though the microphone died, the happiness from removing the second turbo was second to none. Wow, we did it. When I started this project, I truly didn't think it would have been this tough.
Hello BMW, yeah, you need my assistance? Can't help you right now. These are both the front turbos, and just check out the difference. It's massive. I mean, look how much bigger that is and how nice it spins compared to this side. This ittle bitty. It's so small and cute. I mean, even though these are nice, these are way better. And it's time to throw them on the car. Now, of course, before we throw anything on, here is the $160 in O-rings and gaskets, which we're gonna put on the new turbos and obviously the old lines. So the last thing I would want is to do all this and then have leaky oil lines that I can't even get to because it's so tight in there. So let's get going. Spending $160 on O-rings was definitely not in my book. But if it means the lines won't be leaking, then honestly, I'm okay with it. Okay, here we go. It's got all new O-rings. The only thing we're still waiting for is the gasket that goes behind here, but I think that should get here today. We're running short on time, but this thing's going in. This is the front one. We're gonna put the front one, and then we're gonna put the rear one.
In with the new turbo, baby. Let's go. Look how nice that looks. One more to go. Yes. Let me tell you, for the second rear turbo, there's nothing to smile about.
That's tough.
It's definitely not for the weak. Let me put it that way.
Boom, baby.
Nice.
Wow. That was insane. Turbo number 2 is in. And let me tell y'all, that was terrible. But even more terrible, the worst possible thing that could happen happened. Oh my gosh. I dropped this inside of the turbo.
That would have been so bad. Big intercooler needs to come off. There's a pipe here, another pipe here. We gotta get rid of this J pipe because we got a new one, and disconnect the coolant reservoir from this. I should probably get like an 8mm and that take it out way easier, but sometimes we just gotta bring it back to the old times where all we had was a flathead.
Now, since the turbos are not just fed with oil, they're also water cooled, this car has a top mount charged air cooler, and it's very important. As the turbos compress air, temperatures skyrocket, and the cooler uses a dedicated coolant circuit, which is these two lines we're disconnecting, to pull that heat out before it enters the engine through the throttle body. Now, the reservoir is actually attached to the charged air cooler, so we have to remove both little bolts holding it on.
It should be able to come out. There we go. Are we off? And we're off. Oh my gosh. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Not only does it look way better, we know it's gonna improve the car's performance, and it's absolutely going to reduce the heat soak, especially since we're in Florida.
Oh wait, no, almost forgot. We forgot to remove the J pipe. We gotta take this bad boy off. I still have no idea how this goes, but how does this come off? I don't know. Oh, what the heck? Is that how it comes off? Oh, look at that. Always make sure that your ports are 100% sealed off. Yeah, these were not tight at all. That could have been so bad. We are gonna go ahead and Teflon the plugs. You don't have to. It's never a bad idea. You don't want any type of air leak through there. And I believe these ports are in case we're ever doing meth injection.
Now we can throw on the new J pipe.
Can't forget the rubber piece. And we want BRSF facing that way. Nice upright. Oh my gosh, here we go. I don't want coolant to start spewing out of everywhere. All right.
Now, here's the deal. Before we start the car, I do want to go ahead and build up some oil pressure in the turbos. So before we throw on the new turbocharged pipes, I'm thinking let's disconnect all the coil packs now that they're easier to get to and build up some oil pressure.
Anyways, the car should not start. Sweet. The turbo should now have oil. This one goes to the front. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, well, my 10mm ran away. So, we're gonna have to ratchet this. And those turbos on there, woo, they look good.
Now that everything is in place, we can throw on the turbo inlet, which is gonna be a tight fit. We have to do our best to slide it into place and then position the clamp where we can get it from the outside. I mean, this is gonna be a little tricky.
Here we go, perfect little angle. Yes, yes. It's all about the angles, baby. You know what I love about this turbo setup too? You would not know this car has bigger turbos unless you peek right over and you can tell right there it's got some pure turbos. I love that. I actually love that.
And another really cool thing, since we don't have an air intake box on this side, I think we're gonna be hearing just a little bit more turbo sound, which is never a bad thing.
The final piece. Also, I know that this carbon fiber is like pretty much faded. This came with the car and these bolts are rusted. So I'm gonna take these out and then I have to go to the hardware store.
Actually, now that I think about it, let's be honest, this faded air intake box just kind of looks out of place in this engine bay, especially because we don't have the matching intake piece. So I'm thinking, let's completely remove it and just put back the stock air box. It should be completely fine, and if anything, it's gonna look better because sometimes less is more. And it's really gonna give us that quote-unquote sleeper look we're going for. And I think we got it. This engine really looks absolutely awesome, but also kind of stock in a way, but not really. On the bottom left, you can tell we have bigger turbos, but at a glance, you only think we have intakes and a better charged air cooler. Now, someone once said a build is never truly finished, but today, I have a feeling we did just that. A car that got to my house looking like this, we completely transformed it, did everything, and we just finished doing bigger turbos. Literally the dream M3 I never thought I would have.
Like nothing even changed. Woo! Go! Yes!
Oh man, we really do have the best of both worlds right now. On the right, a manual transmission M3 with bigger twin turbos. And on the left, an automatic big single turbo 340i.
I'll never forget the feeling sitting there in the garage, seeing two complete chassis taken apart. And the fact that we're now driving the car on bigger turbos, how... I hear the turbo a little more. The turbos sound crazy. No, we cannot go crazy. The car is not tuned. Wow. Wow.
Wow, I would be lying out of my mind if I said I knew 100% we would finish this build. You guys just watch what has been the most difficult challenge I've taken on. And the fact that we came out on top, just learning as we went, backyard courage, no actual mechanic experience, goes to show how much is possible when you just put your mind to something and dedicate yourself to it. And of course, the power of God. Thank you for watching this incredible episode. I love you. Subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, go out there, do something you never thought you could do.